And welcome to the Red Leaf Retrocast WrestleCast episode 44. I am your host, JD. Let's get this thing started. I am looking forward to talking with you for the next couple hours, minimum, about all the wrestling that happened from around the world over the past 2 weeks. Yes, it's been quite a journey with AEW now in full force. We got on the docket today, got some NXT talk, which has been a rarity these days. We got a new promotion I bet you've never heard of. Got some more Gatoh move. The Wrestler Spotlight. We're up to Lex Luger now for the NWA US Champions. I will be battling my cat as usual on this podcast as well, as he's really adamant about running around, hitting the mic table, attacking my earphones, and possibly hitting the mic. So I'll be wrestling him one-on-one during this podcast. Weekly wrestling recap with my mom. She's back to talk MLW, AEW episodes 6 and 7 in full gear. So a little extra bonus there. After that, go into more All Japan Women classics. Dragon Gate, Stardom, hitting almost the end of the Tag League. Progress, WXW. Then naturally ending with WCW Nitro from 1998. Stay tuned to see which we're up to there. Haven't figured out a title yet, so I'll write that down, and you can see it in the description of the episode anyways. But needless to say, let's get this thing going. NXT USA Live from November 13th had a match I must talk about. It garnered a lot of positivity over the last couple weeks. Have not been into the War Games build whatsoever with the Gargano injury, so the Finn Balor match is totally out. Presumably that was from the botched basic implant DDT on the ramp that Balor gave Gargano, so that put him out. Lots of hodgepodge teams that basically make no sense just because War Games has to happen. And then the Survivor Series invasion for the sake of Survivor Series fake brand loyalty. Not a fan, but there is a silver lining. Sometimes there is just a really good wrestling match with a really good wrestler that I must talk about, and that match is the Angel Garza versus Lio Rush for the Cruiserweight Championship bout. I did go ahead and watch Angel Garza gaining the opportunity to be a number one contender, and I gotta say, this match was awesome. Lio Rush's new look is quite nice. It's a breath of fresh air to see him being Lio Rush again at the end of the day. But Angel Garza is amazing. He does his pulling the pants spot off, which the crowd just absolutely adores. He gets huge reaction from the crowd. But of course, since this is WWE, the loved guy is a heel. So he's not booed, even though he acts like a bad guy. But I could totally see why the crowd cheers him. Lio Rush has his family ringside, wife and kid. Angel Garza gets out of the ring, takes his pants off, and, well, he's a nice guy. He gives Lio Rush's family free pants. I see no problem with that. Lio Rush just found that so insulting. Just can't imagine. So obviously Lio Rush is the heel now, and Angel Garza is the good guy from this point forward. And they have a banger of a match. In NXT fashion, though, in WWE in general, the production drives you insane with commercials just mid-match out of nowhere, sometimes multiple, incessant camera cuts that make you sick. But despite all of the production flaws, the match itself was balls to the wall, heavy, and just fast-paced. Garza just getting the best of Rush for quite a while the match. Lio Rush goes for his bottom rope springboard sit-out stunner. He goes for it the first time, doesn't connect. Goes for it the second time, gets it. He goes for it a third time to the well too much, and it gets reversed. Just a great match that ends with kind of a botched finish, where they each kick out of each other's finishers. Garza tries to go for an avalanche version of the wing clipper, and Rush reverses this into a Frankensteiner. Garza is close to the rope, and Rush, I keep wanting to say Roosh, but that's not right. Rush gets his low-down frog splash on Garza on the ropes, and Garza kind of gets his foot on the ropes. Rush takes it off. The ref just continues the count. So there is a good chance we'll get a rematch, and I'm all for it. Fantastic. Garza, I hope, isn't limited to the cruiserweights. I am aware of his match with Ciampa where he basically got stomped. Now I'm not a fan of that because it just kind of set him at a pedestal, because WWE has their stars and then everyone else. So it kind of gets you to look at guys in a certain way. It conditions you to think, if this guy's not in the main picture of things, he's not important enough. So luckily, the crowd in this match was absolutely on fire. Yes, kitty cat? Yeah, that's what I thought. But I want to see Garza now continue the feud, get a rematch, possibly lose, and then go for the North American title. Like, take that step up. I think he is that damn good, that damn talented. He's got the charisma for it. He's got the look. I don't want to see him held back, basically. Do I see him having success in WWE as a whole? Like, if he moves on from NXT at some point? Well, no, because it's WWE. In the next promotion, as I move on here, it is over a promotion called GBG Wrestling. This is from their Bring the Riot show, and this is a promotion out of Gothenburg, Sweden, of all places. And why am I talking about this promotion? Well, it just so happens a heavily promoted match, you might say, was on here. It is Cara Noir versus my man Michael Fynne from Body Slam Wrestling, the Get High Bad Guy, the King of Zolbril, he King of Wrong Style. These two had a simple, 10-minute match, and it told a good story. Very, very simple enough. Michael Fynne is booed and disrespected out of the building, essentially. And the story was Cara Noir was obviously the big babyface character. He messes with Fynne at the beginning, sticks his hand in his pants, pulls out the big middle finger. How dare he? They have a very good back and forth situation in which Michael Fynne actually takes a good chunk of the match. So you would think, just based on star power alone, that Cara Noir would kind of be the guy controlling, but it was Michael Fynne running the show, and the Noir comeback. At one point, Fynne goes for the Fynne cutter, the second rope Oz cutter, if you will. Noir's falls to the ground, rolls to the rope, and gives him a middle finger, so that continues that story there. Just fantastic stuff. Fynne does eventually hit the Fynne cutter after just an amazing ending sequence of one in which I really thought Cara Noir was going to win, with locking in the big running sleeper hold. Fynne breaks out of it, and then he's slow to get out of it, and that's when Cara Noir rises from the dead, essentially, and grabs him again. I really thought that was going to be the end of the match, but Fynne does manage to get out of that, and that's when he hits his Fynne cutter for the win in Sweden. It looked like a pretty cool venue. There was a good second-level deck area there. Fans were really close to the ring. One camera view at the bottom of the ring featured the whole match, so I did put it out on my Twitter. Link to a Facebook link where you can watch the match. It's really fun stuff. I do recommend it. So, Michael Fynne breaking grounds in multiple countries, and it was just announced that for 16 carats in March 2020 in WXW, they're going to be featuring not just Smash Wrestling and Wrestling Cult of Germany, they're also going to be featuring Body Slam Wrestling of Denmark. So, jokingly, I've been making like some marquee fandom things on there, but I really, really hope this leads to a good little partnership going forward with not just Smash Wrestling in Canada, but Body Slam Wrestling wrestlers and WXW wrestlers kind of doing talent exchanges more often, bring in fresh talent. Like I said before, Michael Fynne in WXW I think is just a fit, and I even see Peter Olesander also being a nice fit with his cult gimmick and characters. He could really have his own little Body Slam stable of sorts. So, fingers crossed that Michael Fynne in just himself is in 16 Carat next year. That is my fingers crossed there, or even an Invasion angle. Ha 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 ha. Well, moving on, as I play the first drop of the podcast. Why did that happen? Don't want that. It seems my Windows freaked out. Okay. Here we go. Yes, we're back with more Gatoh Move. Various Gatoh Move that was released from the end of October to about mid-November here. Got a number of matches listed that were released. Mostly the early November ones. But there was an April 27th, 2019 match of Mitsuru Kono versus Sawasti Kamen. A quick high-speed 6-minute match. Very simple. Kamen does get the win. Lots of good suplexes overall from both. November 2nd, 2019 was Mei Suruga defeats rookie Tokiko Kirihara. A simple, effective rookie match, like something you would see on the Stardom undercard, if I was to compare. You see quite a bit of potential out of Kirihara, whom I believe just debuted a month ago. And I hope she gets new gear. I'm not a big fan of the whole baggy shirt thing she's got going on. But a lot of rookie matches, rookie debuts against the three more established stars of Gatoh Move. In November 10th match, Mitsuru Kono defeating Sayuri. Another simple rookie showing from Sayuri this time, basically trying out her offense. So if you're into kind of seeing stars debut and seeing how they make out, maybe seeing the future potential that one might has, a lot of these Gatoh Move matches that came out are doing that. Another November 10th show was Hagane Shino defeating Yuna Mizumori. This was not a rookie match. This was an intergender match. I thought it was a great showing from Yuna here. I've really come around on her, seen a bunch more matches from Yuna. Probably my favorite match I've seen from her, as a matter of fact. Seeing her pulling off all her power moves against a larger opponent was definitely something I wanted to see more of. Shino is this martial arts type guy. That's his offense, so seeing the powerhouse Yuna taking the chops, the kicks, eventually mounting her comeback made for a really good and fun match. She did end up tapping to some wild octopus type stretch in the end. So this was a good match for Mizumori here. On November 13th, there was a couple matches that were released. This was another Yuta match. She defeats the rookie Sayuri. So Sayuri's here again. Basically, rookie taking on top Gatoh Move player. Of course, Yuna gives a good showing. This is what I've seen most of her matches is in this case. I liked what I saw out of Sayuri more so in this match. Yuna is definitely is much more versatile in her work than Kono. So was able to work with the rookie way more. Made for a better match, therefore. And then finally, Masahiro Takanashi and Cherry. Cherry is a 46-year-old veteran, for those that don't know. Defeats the team of Kono and Chie. This was just okay. Pretty standard match here with a vets win, not much else. What I did like, worth a fun note, is the 4-second video that started off for Gatoh Move here, instead of just their usual da 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 sound. It's Kono, Mei, and Yuna. They're in a line, right? And they're rolling their arms and going in and out of the shot sideways, and they're saying in Japanese, "Please subscribe to our YouTube channel for Gatoh Move." It's fun, it's goofy, and it's exactly perfect for the channel. So easy Gatoh Move watching, lots of rookie stuff. It really gets you to realize how many just people that are coming out of this school and looking as good as they do. It's quite a class and promotion that's coming. I hope it definitely has more promise than, say, when I look at another promotion like Ice Ribbon, where it seems very stagnant in the undercard to the mid-card. Not a lot of depth in the roster. In this case, I can see the depth there. It just needs to develop. Lulu Pencil is just going off on a tear. Her and Mei Suga went over to Pro Wrestling Eve in the UK. They got a big reception. You can find that stuff on social media. So fun stuff. Good job, Gatoh Move. Keep it up. As I play the next drop, we can move on. Just going really quick today. Quite nice. Need a good change of pace there.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Best there ever will be. Well, I knew the day was coming. The day has come where I must talk about Lex Luger, NWA US Champion. We're keep going down the list. This is NWA US Champion 19, the 19th champion. Lex Luger in the 35th reign of the title. He wins the title off Nikita Koloff in a steel cage match at the Great American Bash in 1987. Luger would go on to reign for 138 days from July 11th, 1987 to November 26th, 1987, losing it eventually to Dusty Rhodes. Now, I have a very strong opinion over Lex Luger. I never understood the hype behind the guy. Never. Because my exposure to him was the Lex Express in WWF in the early 90s. His eventual turning up on Nitro way later. Him putting on just boring ass matches on Nitro for seemingly forever. Just boring promos. But he had a good body, and he was a big star. That is undeniable. But fuck, I hated this guy. And my mom really liked him. The Narcissist. That was her favorite version of Lex Luger. So, was my opinion the same in the NWA during the US title stuff? And I can say it's a little better. He's much more mobile. He has a little bit more personality, but I will be honest, he was carried during a lot of this. His no charisma, no personality, facing off against guys like Koloff, Dusty Rhodes, eventually becoming part of the Horsemen with Flair. Like, he was surrounded with personalities. Period. He put a big quick stamp on the Koloff thing. That didn't last very long at all from the moment it was started. He had seemingly a forever feud with Sting, where he just was, Sting and Flair in its own right. Just never ended. He was always at the top, but the Dusty Rhodes thing, like, the matches were just okay. They were really just built off the heat and the want of the title more than anything. Him being much more mobile saved a lot of the few matches I watched with him. I did watch the Great American Bash match. I did watch him losing him in various matches to Dusty Rhodes. But overall, Lex Luger does nothing for me. This is the best time of the NWA US title. Just filled with all the characters of Magnum TA, Tully, Koloff. That era was just so good, and I can see the issues with NWA, like Crockett booking now, with the whole Luger and then going to Rhodes and Luger going up the card right after this and just killing not influence, but interest. Killing interest in the top. So boring. And this trip down, not my memory lane, but for a lot of people, it's definitely a retrospect on Luger in general, and he's definitely, like, I've compared him to today's Roman Reigns character. He has like 4 moves, tries to get over with like just the smug charisma that you just can't help but hate. He's a good-looking guy, quote unquote. So yeah, not a Lex Luger guy at all. Still am not. The cage match was okay. He has a good feud every now and again, but at the end of the day, Luger's definitely one of the most overrated NWA US champions I've come across. So he's going to fall pretty damn low on the list when it's all said and done. Nice and quick, 21 minutes into the cast, and we're moving on to my mom and I talking MLW, some Beyond Wrestling from my personal experience at Live, and AEW, me live at Full Gear. So enjoy, and when I return, we'll be back.
Beyond Wrestling! Beyond Wrestling! Beyond Wrestling!
And welcome back to the weekly wrestling recap. Joined here. Yes, Mom, you're back.
I'm back.
Episode 44 in total.
Dang.
And I think you're on your, let's see here. Checking. 4th episode?
Huh.
No, 6th. This would be your 6th episode, because you did 2 MLWs prior, and you've done 3 head-to-heads. So this is number 6 for you.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So you're a month and a half back into wrestling.
Back into wrestling. Yes.
And next week you're coming to visit, and you're going to a wrestling show.
I'm
on
excited
Thanksgiving.
about that. Yeah, I'm excited.
So I have news I'm going to drop on you on the air. I hope you're ready.
Are you pregnant?
Me? That would be a shock.
It would be.
So, I have found an interesting place that was highly recommended that we go to on Thanksgiving afternoon before wrestling.
Oh, cool. What is it?
It is called Rights.
Not a Mexican restaurant, I hope. I got enough of those down here.
No.
Okay.
I can assure you it is not Mexican food in Rhode Island. It's already hard enough to find.
Everyone has their own version of, Mexican food, and then we have Tex-Mex,
Well,
so.
that is correct. No, this is, in fact, a farm of some kind. It's called Wright's Farm, and I hope to officially reserve. I am on a list.
Oh, it's a farm-to-table place, I think. Isn't it a farm-to-table place?
Perhaps. The point is, it is a chicken farm in which it's basically all you can eat chicken. Yeah,
Do I get to pick out my chicken like I do a lobster in a tank or something?
That would be cool. I cannot deny nor confirm that.
That would be kind of funny.
Do I get to cut the head off myself and watch it run around?
Yeah. Or pick an eel out like they do in Germany. Those are kind of fun. You have your eel tanks. Did you ever see that in Germany?
I did not.
Well, they do. I guess it's in the fancier restaurants.
Oh.
Yeah. But they do. They have eel tanks. Or back in the day they did. You know how...
Okay.
When you're getting older, when you have to say back in the day.
I suppose.
Yep. You're getting old when you say back in the day.
So today we got Beyond Wrestling, of course, of the show I go to weekly every Thursday.
Yes.
We have MLW episode 83, the fallout from Saturday Night Super Fight.
Right.
And then we have 3 AEW shows to do. The
3?
Yes, the Go Home show before Full Gear itself, and then from this past Wednesday, the Fallout.
Well,
of
I don't
Full
know
Gear.
about that third one you're talking about, the
Yes,
AEW.
you watched
the first
it.
one.
You watched
What?
it. You watched
I
them
did?
all. You did.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, then maybe I need to get another piece of paper that I don't have. Let me see. I don't know. Oh my goodness.
The show before Full Gear.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I guess we'll find out when we get there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that, JD.
So, Beyond Wrestling, moving along. Episode 6 was very skippable. Not a very good show. The main event was okay. Definitely the... Let's call it the...
Was it blood? Was it
less...
women?
No. There was no bloody women on this one. It was the least exciting of them all, but episode 7, I can proudly say, was the most exciting of them all. That was a fantastic show from start to finish. It opened up with John Silver against Red Death Daniel Garcia. Totally got the crowd into a frenzy. We were just screaming all night from that point forward. The Chuck O'Neal Pinky Sanchez match was the worst one, the least match of the night's contender, but it had story purposes where Chuck O'Neal, this MMA guy, went to beat up Pinky Sanchez and his tag team partner. As my cat hits the mic, he's still running around the apartment. Pinky's tag team partner came out to save him and challenged him to a match next week. So continuing that was cool.
Which is this week.
Which is this Thursday.
Yep.
Upon recording. Yep.
Yep.
The Bird and the Bee defeated Club Cam. So that was lots of fun. Club Cam is in a crossroads. They haven't won a lot lately, so they're very distraught. This is the bad guy team, and the bad guy team doesn't like losing.
Okay.
Discovery Gauntlet continued. Gary J. And Mom, you would get a kick out of the way this guy looks. He is he's got long stringy hair, a red ginger beard. He's balding on the top. He has a singlet of sorts, and then he has... They're not quite basketball shoes, but they're closer to wrestling shoes, but they're not actually that, and he has Rugrats socks on.
Oh, hysterical.
Yeah, he looks
maybe
like a guy...
He's trying to find himself.
I don't know, but when I look at this guy, I go, my God, that looks like a jobber. Are you familiar with the term jobber? Okay, well, a jobber in wrestling is someone who goes out there just to get the shit kicked out of him by a dude.
Oh, and did that happen?
No, he won.
Oh.
Which was quite baffling. But it was from Tony Deppen kind of distracting him, and then he had a match with Chris Dickinson, in which that was a really fun match. Highly recommend. Go check that one out. But yeah, Gary J, I look at him and I go, man, I'd like to see him on AEW or something where he just gets the shit kicked out of him. He looks like that kind of guy. Yeah.
How big is he?
Well, he's really skinny. He doesn't look more than 160 pounds, but he's like 5'11" at least.
So what is he, like Oliver?
I would actually say he's skinnier than Oliver.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Nerd to Death Kill got a win, and then the main event.
Obviously, he doesn't do steroids.
No, he does not. That I can guarantee. And if he does, he's doing them poorly. And in the main event was Chris Statlander, the Galaxy's greatest alien, taking on Mercedes Martinez, whom, if we watch AEW Dark tomorrow, they will be on it together.
No kidding.
Yeah, so they were in the main event here, and it was a really good women's match that was quite entertaining. So, from top to bottom, it was a fun night at Beyond Wrestling. I had my Compass Tavern little thing night before, or before I went. So,
right,
sticking to my own little Thursday night tradition. prior.
Gotcha.
Had a couple beers. I was having a good time.
Sure.
Ringside, banging away, etc., etc.
They serve beers there too.
They do serve beers there, but they ran out of
Do they
the
serve
summer
wine?
beer. I believe so, yes. Yes. But they ran out of their summer beer specials for $2, just trying to get rid of all the summer beers.
Sure.
So I was like, dang.
Oh.
No more cheap beverages, I guess.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Well, I'm looking...
extra $1.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to you coming on Thursday next week. It was announced after Chris Statlander won her match that she will be the captain of Team Beyond in a 5-on-5 elimination match on Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And you can hear me go, "Who's your partners?" And then she goes, "It's a secret." And I just went, of course it is.
Hey, they don't show any of that on YouTube, eh?
They put matches out on YouTube. You can definitely find me in the crowd on most of them.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah, but I could also give you my website information, and you can check out the episode, and I can send you pictures that have been taken. You can see me in the audience.
Uh-huh.
Could do that.
Yeah.
If you so choose to use.
Yeah, do that.
Okay. All right. That was Beyond Wrestling. Let me play the drop. We can go on to MLW, which should be a short one today.
Uh-huh.
All right, Mother, we watched MLW episode 83, the
We
fallout
did.
of Saturday Night Super Fight.
We did.
You know,
I
the
have
show.
to turn my page.
You're so old school with everything.
Hey, believe me, when things go wrong, I have it written down to look back and know that. Uh-huh. Go
Well,
ahead.
you're right. But the way I look at it is if I can't access my information, we're not recording a podcast because that means my computer's out.
Uh-huh. Well, at some point, I'm going to have to get a new computer myself.
Well, Black Friday's right around the corner. You could totally use that day to get one.
Sure.
Yeah. Or Cyber Monday. Either or.
No.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Anyways, episode
ahead.
83.
Yeah.
What'd you think? Good show? Easy show?
There's a lot of talking on that one. A lot of John on that one.
There was only 2
Mhm.
matches?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
2 matches.
Yeah, 2 matches. And I think because they wanted to introduce a newbie coming into MLW, and I think that's part of that. Plus, hail Contra with that too, all greased up.
hail country. Plus that. Well, the show begins with Joseph Samael of Contra cutting a promo celebrating the fall of Promociones Dorado, as he says, as he does, and the crumbling of castles of MLW. He warns that Contra's reign of terror will continue, and mayhaps more soldiers will join Contra. Samael goes on to say Contra wants the rest of the titles in MLW, so they have a mission statement, if you will. He calls out specifically the Von Erichs for their tag titles, and Teddy Hart for his middleweight championship, promising to make them all say, "Hail Contra!"
Right.
And the crowd
And-
kind of boos, sort of, kind of.
Mm-hmm. But I see all the belts going to Fat. Ooh.
Well, maybe not him specifically, but Contra for sure.
But yeah, Contra for sure, because the way it's looking and who's winning and I'm like, oh my God, he shouldn't have won, and it got me to thinking what's going on with Teddy Hart after watching him. I mean, what a just doing we'll do the first one first, the first match with Timothy Thatcher and Loki, who shouldn't have won because Timothy Thatcher honestly had it He was dominant the whole time. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm a little baby and Loki's going to make me. And I'm like, oh my God. It was horrible. I was so pissed that Loki won because Timothy Thatcher should have ultimately won. I was very disappointed to see that.
I was as well. But I think, hear me out, I think I see the plan here. Well, first of all, I'm disappointed because Timothy Thatcher is the champion of Germany right now. He is WXW's champion.
Oh, okay.
So low-key, before you started watching MLW, was winning a lot of his matches with like one kick or one punch and knocking them out, right? Mm-hmm. In this one, he was getting the shit kicked out of him, and he locks in one submission, and he gets him to submit.
Yeah, bullshit.
So I think that's a foreshadowing. I call bullshit too, because that's dumb.
Yeah, and he hardly had a lock on him too. I mean, when I see a headlock going, you see it, and this was like so weak, and I'm like, what the heck?
Well, see, that's the thing. You remember I talked about a Beyond Wrestling main event of Timothy Thatcher and Eddie Kingston where it was kind of boring, and it was mostly Thatcher kind of doing his wrestling style over him. That's kind of what this was low-key just getting the crap kicked out of him, and then the match just ends, right?
Well, it wasn't even a match, really, because they're not... I mean, Timothy Thatcher is a hunk. You know, he's a hunk of guy, and then low-key is just like...
I think we should expand that. You can't just say hunk of guy and just push it off like that. He's a hunk of guy.
He's got a lot of meat on him. Dude. He's bulked up, you know? I mean, shit, I wouldn't want... He's a big guy.
He is a big dude. You should see him in person. He's quite... Yeah, he's an impressive male specimen.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He is impressive. And he's cute, too, which helps.
Well, he's missing half his teeth.
Well, I didn't see that.
Oh, okay. He's like a hockey player. Like it.
Oh, really? Because they did a close-up on him, and he had all his teeth.
I think he's missing like a couple bottom and one top tooth. So he looks like a hockey... His mouth looks like a hockey player.
Oh, okay.
The after effects of taking a puck to the face kind of deal. Anyways, sure. I think Low-Key is going to win his next couple matches on MLW via submission win, like kind of out of nowhere, to kind of mirror his knockout wins he was pulling for a little while. It's going to get old really fast if this is the case. Hopefully it's just a one-off, and they have a direction for Low-Key, because Thatcher seems to not be a permanent stay in MLW. He looks to be a kind of big name, big guy that they brought in for his name to get other guys in MLW over. You know, people beat him and make themselves look better kind of deal. Then we got a bunch of talking segments in between, as MLW does. Cameras catch up with Mr. Filthy Tom Lawler, and they do a funny little thing where he's with the Von Erichs, and a reporter just comes up and goes, "Hey, rumors, what do you say to the rumors that you've signed with New Japan or WWE?" And Tom Lawler just goes, "Come on, get out of here, dirt sheets. What? This isn't the Torch," which is, for you, Mother, just for reference, the Torch is a wrestling news website. Yeah, and Lawler worked for its competitor at one time.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of an inside joke.
Well, and he was with MMA too.
That is correct. And speaking of MMA, the recently retired
King Mo.
Yeah, the recently retired Bellator fighter King Mo was announced to be coming to MLW. He does a little interview in his King Mo way. And then Injustice follow that up with a promo about Myron Reed's title match later tonight against Teddy Hart. So they do their Injustice thing.
And Mr. Velvet Cut.
Mr. Velvet did accompany Teddy Hart to the ring for his middleweight title match against Myron Reed.
I think Mr. Velvet Cut probably would have done better in the ring.
Ooh. Is that a jab against Teddy Hart or Myron Reed?
It is. Teddy Hart is just a waste of space right now. He's like, I don't know what his problem is, but he just has a very slow way about him. Like there's something not right. He doesn't have that power drive that he did in the beginning. He's like really, there's just nothing, no persona. There's just nothing.
Well, he does completely and totally lack charisma. He tries to make it up with his goofy costumes and his and Mr. Velvet accompanying
his sparkly costumes. I mean, that ain't gonna make it. That's gonna go, ew.
Well, he's super athletic, and that's how he gets over, because he's very impressive and smooth. But yes, he defended his middleweight title against Myron Reed with Injustice ringside. This is your main event, Mother, and you were quite excited when you read the news prior to watching.
Yeah, and I watched and I go, I had to watch it a couple of times to really see exactly what happened, because at certain angles it looks worse than it actually was. Not seeing the 3rd-degree burns, though. It's not bad.
Well, what are you exactly referring to for our listeners who haven't seen the match?
When Samael blew the fire in his face, fireball heart in the face. Honestly, I didn't see it going that close to his face. By me rewatching it, I'm like, And so and here's the thing, and this is why I think that this match kind of had to put Teddy Hart out for a while, because he's been injured. And I think he needs to recover from his injuries, whatever they are. And so I think they blew this thing up to say, he's out indefinitely with a 3rd-degree burns, and
it's a good way to get him off TV for a while.
Right. Give it to Myron Reed, and Myron Reed's whatever, I really would like to see Myron Reed without that freaking chest protector. That's so stupid.
There's going to be a story of him having to take it off. The way the match basically went down is it was kind of the Teddy Hart show beating down on Myron Reed. He beats up Injustice in between, despite the constant interference. Reed got some offense, but it really felt like nothing. It was just kind of walking around the mat for a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Hart gets distracted by Jordan Oliver near the end, which feels like a year in between something actually happening. They're just like they're like having a conversation about, I don't know, did they leave the stove on at home or something? It was just forever.
Well, and then the part with Oliver, he had something. See, he had something in his hand, and then he didn't have it in his hand, and I think it was handed to Hart.
It was all really weird. I don't know what was going on. Maybe he handed him like a blood pack or something.
Yes.
I don't know. But Samael finally pops in out of nowhere, throws a fireball into Hart's face. Reed hits a 450 splash to pin him and, shockingly, become the new champ. So Contra stays true to their word that they're coming for the title, so they took it off Teddy Hart.
Right.
Myron Reed comes off as a total stooge here. He doesn't look like a champion at all. He's going to get the crap kicked out of him by somebody.
Oh, yeah. They all will.
Whether Contra just beats him down hard, and then who does that help in the end? I don't know.
Right.
I didn't like this very much at all. The new champ is a shock. That's all it kind of is. And as you said, on social media, we find out later, Hart is out indefinitely due to the 3rd-degree burns and multiple injuries he suffered before and after the match, or during the match, if you will. And there's more rumors surrounding Teddy Hart that he could be moving to Florida and perhaps signing with either WWE or AEW. So the rumor mill is going heavily. There's also big rumors of Teddy Hart kind of being pushed into seclusion, if you will, because of bad rumors, because of his past. Teddy Hart, I don't know if you know, Mother, but he has a very, very shady past of misdoings, to put it nicely.
Okay.
Of whom people he's hung out with or been convicted of, whether it's drugs, alcohol, spousal abuse he's been connected to, women trafficking. He's one of his older friends is a convicted child sex offender. I think that's right. And he's back. That guy's back in the news. So of course, when they start looking up, Teddy Hart's connected to him, and in some way because they were friends. So there's a lot of news surrounding Teddy Hart lately, good and bad.
I gotcha.
Right. So it's very shady.
You gave me more news than I knew.
Yeah. Well, I'm filling in gaps.
Sure, that's a good one.
Yeah. But in terms of the MLW universe, he's out with burns to his face from the hands of Contra. Did he say, "Oh, hail Contra"? He certainly did not. Therefore, he is burned out of existence temporarily.
Huh. Well, that's very interesting. Poor Mr. Velvet.
Mr. Velvet is definitely...
I feel bad for Mr. Velvet. Anyways, that cat, there's something that, there's something about having an animal and how that animal is brought into such an environment. I'm just like...
all the noise and crowd.
Yeah,
and
that's not normal.
Well, have you seen... the bear pushing a wheelbarrow in a circus, and then it just turns and mauls the dude.
Right,
and everyone's
waiting for that.
And everyone's like calling animal abuse, and I'm like, well, it is. And then the the people in charge fucking paid for it, so
right, yeah. So yeah, well, at least we don't have to see Mr. Velvet Cat be abused anymore.
I mean, it would be funny if he just turns and jumps on Teddy Hart's face one day. Just claws, and he just flails everywhere.
Now that would be a good fight. That
would be hysterical. It would just be like, I feel bad for the cat, but that's really funny. That's like cartoony,
Right.
You hear the muffled voice, "No, Mr. Velvet, get off!" All right, with that, I think it's a good time to play some AEW music, because we got a lot to talk about there.
Yeah.
Where's Kenny Omega's music? I had it. Where'd it go? Kenny, there it is. The one-winged angel screams. It fuels my hopes and dreams. The best ever. Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Indeed, all of the indeed.
Indeed.
AEW Episode 6, November 6th, 2019, from Charlotte.
Oh, I guess I didn't watch it, JD. I'm sorry.
I'm sure you did.
No.
I'm sure you did.
So. I had 6 hours of watching and I didn't watch it. I was on vacation.
I know you were, but I'm pretty sure you watched this. So,
but you didn't.
And if you didn't, I will fill. Mom, you got to watch every episode. That is the rule.
Well, I'm sorry, but it ain't happening.
All right. Well, I will fill in the gaps for you. How about that?
Yeah, you do that.
All right. So Pac opens up the show against your man Trent in a fantastic match. Yes, Trent of the Best Friends. He's got the body you so like and the hairy chest that you so like.
Yes, my
guy. I guess you didn't watch this show. How dare
I told you.
Well, it was a very good match.
I was on vacation.
It was a very good match, and it ends via ref stopping his count for no reason. We don't know why. There's a lot of speculation surrounding between a miscommunication between the wrestlers or the ref or what have you. It didn't totally ruin the match, but it was kind of weird. Pac puts him in the submission hold and gets the win that way. Yes, your man Trent lost.
What?
Yes.
How wrong is that? Slimebog made it?
Slimy Pac won.
Well, he's got to win some, I guess. He's
He's got to get ready for all that cowboy shit that was going to be at Full Gear.
Mm-hmm.
Hangman Page was bringing.
Mm-hmm.
So this was followed by an amazing Cody Rhodes promo gearing up for Full Gear. He addresses Chris Jericho as a succubus, surrounding himself with impressionable youth. He says this should be about the living, not his dad. He references the past of NWA, saying the champions were also management. This is kind of referring to himself. So therefore, he lays down the stipulation, if he does not beat Chris Jericho at Full Gear for the title, he will never challenge for the title again.
I call bullshit.
Why is that?
Really?
Because time and time again, wrestling breaks the rules?
Of course.
Okay. Well, I could see this going a number of different ways. This was my thought process going into Full Gear. Because I thought this was built incredibly well. It was a lot of fun. He specifically says the words, he will never challenge for the title again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what he can do is antagonize a champion or what have you and have them challenge him, so he's not technically challenging for the title.
Mm-hmm.
He could become a bad guy, heel management, and just say, well, fuck it, I'm going to use my my executive powers to take the title when it's vacant, or anything. You can come up with 1,000 different stories to go around this phrase he used to be super specific about it.
He could be Moxley.
Something along that line. Followed up with Private Party versus the Dark Order for third place in the tag title tournament, where the winner gets a tag title shot at Full Gear. This was announced as a bronze medal match, complete with third place medals, Mother.
Oh.
Nice little touch. Now, it took me forever to find out why the Lucha Bros get another shot at the tag titles at Full Gear, despite just losing to SUU last week, if you remember correctly.
Right.
Well, the tag title match is a triple threat match, right? Okay, follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So the teams that finished 1, 2, 3 in the tournament get into the three-way match. So the Lucha Bros got second place, therefore they're in it. It does make sense, but it could have been vastly explained a lot better, because I was left baffled at first for a while. I had to really put that together. But nonetheless, this was a real good match. Crowd generally boos the Dark Order now. They're getting actual boos instead of just kind of silence that they've been getting.
Oh, why? I like Dark Order.
I like them too. People are crazy. I love them and their minions, and the difference that they bring to a very flippy tag team division.
Yeah.
This was followed up with a women's match. Emi Sakura and Jamie Hayter defeating AEW's women's champion Riho and Shauna. So Shauna gets another appearance on Dynamite here. This was okay, and then the last minute happens where Riho and Sakura exchange 1,000,000 cradle falls, till finally Sakura gets the one and pins Riho. Her first pinfall loss in AEW, I believe. So it's kind of a big deal. Now,
Sakura, wasn't she the teacher?
Yes, that is correct. And it's funny you mention that. So I thought this would have been way better if, A, they didn't announce the title match at Full Gear prior. Right?
Yeah.
As my phone rings, I turn that off. Or, if you will, show a video package prior to the match of the history between Riho and Emi Sakura. Because the story really writes itself. Teacher-student, they've had 1 billion matches together. They started this really small promotion in Thailand and Tokyo going between the two. Emi first met Riho when she was like 12, straight out of gymnastics, right?
9. She was 9.
Well, she was 9 when she started, but she met Emi, I believe, at 12, if I have my facts straight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't until Riho went to, like, a school of Emi's specifically as she was getting into wrestling. Because they did basically nothing other than kind of commentary mentioning it. before going into this match, but needless to say, Emi Sakura got the pin over her student. There was a match between Spears and Cutler. Spears wins. Spears and Tully Blanchard need to be in a faction or group of some kind, because Spears is doing basically nothing. You agree with this? He's just kind of by himself with the old man. The old man's not talking, even though he has talking ability.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, they're not doing anything.
No, not really.
Spears tries to beat up Cutler. Joey Janela kind of saves him. So, And you missed the Chris Jericho spoof video.
Oh.
So, weeks and weeks ago, they showed a video of Cody getting ready for the title match, right? He's at his executive desk. Brandy's talking to him about this and that. He just goes, "Whatever you want, honey," and kisses her. Then it shows him like working out. Then there's a bunch of people close to Cody, and they're just like, "Yeah, Diamond Dallas Page." Number of other people are like, "Yeah, I believe in Cody. He's gonna win. What a man." Well, Chris Jericho does a spoof over that same video. You gotta watch this.
Okay, I will.
It is utterly fantastic, as I am going to explain it to you and the audience right now.
Okay.
Sammy Guevara, Chris Jericho's at a desk of some kind. He's deep in thought. Sammy Guevara comes, and he has 2 bottles of the bubbly with him.
Of course.
Of course. And he goes, "Hey, do you want the better tasting or the low-calorie bubbly?" Jericho goes, "Whatever you want," and he gets up and kisses Sammy Guevara, walks away. Then it cuts to a number of people close to Jericho. You have Soul Train Jones, you would better know him, mother, as Virgil. Does that name ring a bell?
No.
The chauffeur the chauffeur manager of Ted the $1 Million Man DiBiase.
Oh wow.
You remember the black guy that would accompany him? That guy.
Yeah.
So he's Soul Train Jones, and he's being interviewed, and he goes, "Chris Jericho's talent is just like the Olive Garden breadsticks, unlimited."
Oh God.
Cuts to Sammy Guevara, and he's just baffled in his glory. Cuts to Jake Hagar, and it's just him standing there saying nothing. Gets to Chris Jericho's aunt's friend from church, and she goes, "I've always believed Chris Jericho was going to be the AEW champion." And she's always believed he's going to kick the shit out of Cody, which is really funny. They bleep her out. She's this old woman. Sammy Guevara says Jericho is the youngest ever AEW champion at 48 years old.
He's 49.
49 now, because his birthday was at Full Gear.
Right.
Was on Full Gear Day. Chris Jericho's in a bathtub, and he's self-contemplating. He's it's really tough waking up and dealing with how amazing I am.
Oh God.
And he's in a bathtub with because Cody went into kind of a tanning not the tanning booth. It was like the completely soundproof booth thing, like tub that they go into.
Yeah.
Well, Jericho's just in like a hotel bathtub with a black light, and he's got his fedora cap on and a scarf in there, and he's drinking the bubbly. It's great.
With no water.
Right. No, there was water in the tub, so his
okay.
scarf's like floating in the water and everything.
What the heck?
It's the greatest video ever.
Okay.
And then we go on to the main event. AEW World Champion Chris Jericho teaming with Sammy Guevara against Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. Fun, simple match that had Pac interfere at the end, costing Page the match, low blows him. Jericho hits him with the spinning back elbow, the Judas effect. Inner Circle get the win, and afterwards there's a massive brawl breakout between basically everyone involved. That's the Elite, the Inner Circle, and Moxley. Of course, Omega and Moxley have another little standoff, weapons-wise. It was pure mayhem that made all the sense in the world. A great go-home segment for Full Gear. What I feel was missing on the show was a Kenny Omega promo on Moxley, because we got one from Moxley, but nothing from Omega.
Mm-hmm.
We got no B. Priestley promo on Britt Baker for their match.
Mm-hmm.
On Dark, on AEW Dark, I don't know if you've continued watching that, Mom.
Mm-mm.
Well, apparently there was a Britt Baker promo on B. Priestley on Dark, but they didn't show it on TV. I thought that was a misstep. So the builds are all there for these matches at Full Gear, but they did not do a good enough job showing these on TV.
Mm-hmm.
This is AEW's, I think, downfall of assuming your audience is kind of all over social media and all over all these other things you're showing.
Mm-hmm.
You're forcing your audience to put all the pieces together themselves instead of showing you the puzzle with the pieces in one place.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't agree with a lot of that. So, I mean, you can easily cut like a minute or two from some of these matches and just show a quick little promo, right? Or a little video or a package or something. Which they did at Full Gear.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of Full Gear, here's Full Gear. You definitely watched this.
I watched it. My poor body, eyes, help me.
Well, I was there. I drove the 7.5 hours down to Baltimore.
Yeah, and you couldn't drive 6.5 to see me when I was in Delaware. That's not nice. Just had to throw it out there, JD.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I even went through Delaware on the way here.
Oh, yeah.
I went through like 6 states. I was like, Jesus, I'm going through them all.
Yeah,
So I've officially been to Delaware now as well.
No, you have to stay in Delaware.
Oh, I didn't know that was a rule.
You can't just drive through.
Oh.
Can't say wave and say I've been there.
Okay.
Whatever.
But it took place at the Royal Farms Arena that was built in like 1963 or something or another, and it sounded like it was from 1963. The sound does not carry in this arena at all, and it feels old, right? I could barely hear the entrance music for a good majority of a lot of the wrestlers. I could see people in the lower section screaming and reacting to everything, but I couldn't hear them in the sections I was. All I could hear, really, was the people around me.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, because when I got home and watched a couple of the matches over again, just see different angles and whatnot, see if I missed anything, you could not hear the crowd on TV either. Even though it was very visual that you could see the people reacting.
Right.
Even I had trouble hearing a lot of it outside of the section I was. Just sound does not carry in this place. It was horrid. It was very strange. So, that was my... But it was a really fun night.
And it was an arena? So
yes.
Did they play basketball in there? Or?
They do a number of different things there. I believe a college does play there. They have a lot of concerts there, which is really strange considering how the sound just didn't carry here. Maybe the acoustics weren't set up properly. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what it is. Because unless there's sound, unless you have microphones and speakers, you're not gonna hear anything. And that's probably why they didn't have any speakers set up or anything. Yeah, that's why you didn't hear anything.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I just going back and look over and over my pictures, there wasn't a whole lot of acoustics in the building, from what I can tell either.
Yeah.
But the stage setup was really cool. They had gears everywhere, kind of moving. The lights were really neat.
Yeah, that was really cool.
There was a long ramp that was the level with the ring all the way down, a la Clash of Champions WCW from the 80s and 90s. So that was really cool. It was a cool setup and unique for the pay-per-view. I quite like that.
Yeah.
But as for the matches themselves, I don't know if you watched.
Was it a good crowd?
It was a good crowd, just couldn't hear them.
Yeah.
I could see them reacting and
Yeah.
kind of hear them, but it wasn't as loud as it should have been because it just
as loud as it's been.
As loud as it's been too,
Yeah.
yes.
In the other places, you hear a lot of the audience and stuff.
Yeah. The first match of Full Gear was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defeating B. Priestley in just under 12 minutes. It was announced via social media that Baker was to be wrestling with the flu, so she still went out there. Gotta suck wrestling someone with the flu, as well as having the flu. But it definitely made me view the match totally different since it wasn't all that good.
Yeah.
Post-match, Brandy Rhodes dressed as a kind of circus ringmaster. That's what she looks like. She accompanies Awesome Kong to the ring. Big black chick. Attacks B. Priestley and cuts some of her hair off, sniffs it, and puts it in her belt as like a trophy. Ooh, where's this leading?
Well,
kind of weird she attacked Priestley of all people instead of Britt Baker, but
right.
It's kind of nitpicking at that point who she attacked.
Britt Baker didn't want her extensions cut, maybe.
Well, I have a feeling a lot of women's extensions are going to be cut in the future.
So that was on the dark side, right?
That was on what they call the buy-in, which you can see on YouTube for free. It was the quote-unquote first match of the show to get us kicked off. Which is okay. They had plenty of time to go. It definitely wasn't was it the shortest match on the show? It might have been. But anyways, it wasn't all that great in the first place. That's okay. Definitely underwhelmed me from what I was expecting. Yeah. Then we had the Young Bucks against Proud and Powerful. What'd you think?
Santana and Ortiz.
Yes.
That's their underscore, Proud and Powerful?
Their underscore? Yes, their nickname, their tag team name is the Proud and Powerful. PNP, if you will.
PP.
Yes, PP.
Wow.
Well, PP's private party. This is PNP.
To me, it was a shocking win.
Why was it shocking?
Because I thought the Young Bucks should have won. Again, the ones that I feel are the most dominant and they're showing the most against their opponents, they end up losing. I'm like, what the hell? And what's with the nail back scratch? I've been seeing that lately. What the? What? The guys don't even have any nails.
Oh, you don't know that. They could not cut them for a few days, and Kitty likes to scratch kind of thing.
Oh, come on. That's like, what is that?
Well, his nickname is the Funky Monkey, Ortiz. And the monkey likes to scratch. He's crazy.
Oh, my God. Yeah, well, no. I like the final with the Rock and Roll Express showing some moves.
Yes.
Post-match
to save the Young Bucks from getting beaten down further from Proud and Powerful.
Yeah.
The Rock and Roll Express hit the ring. They jumped the barrier because they were watching ringside. Ricky Morton delivers a Canadian Destroyer and then tope to the outside. This is one of the more audible moments in the entire night where the entire arena erupts simultaneously.
Right.
You can definitely hear this one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Cool thing. Nice, simple match. I don't think the rivalry is over by any stretch.
Yeah, no.
Match went 21 minutes to start the show.
Wow. It was a 30-minute match.
Well, 30-minute time limit.
Yeah, 30-minute
Yes.
time limit. Yeah. So
Next match was...
I got a new name for Hangman Page.
Okay, well, he is in the next match against Pac.
The bastard.
The bastard Pac, yes.
I need Hangman Page to be called the Rhinestone Cowboy.
The Rhinestone... Oh, because his bedazzled butt?
Yes. That's just too funny.
It was quite distracting, and we all made fun of it in the crowd too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're all like, I can't look away from his bedazzled butt.
Well, see, then it got me too, because I called him the Rhinestone Cowboy.
That's awesome. Well, what'd you think of Rhinestone Cowboy against the slimy bastard?
I actually thought it was a good match. I'm kind of concerned that Hangman Page, I thought maybe got his thumb hurt somehow from the chair slam.
It's possible.
Because
there was a big brain buster in the corner on a chair that scared the hell out of all of us in the live crowd.
Yeah, and
quite the spot.
Hangman Page was really holding his thumb there the whole rest of the time. So I'm thinking that there was some damage on his thumb.
Quite possible. Haven't heard anything.
Yeah. But
well,
Rhinestone Cowboy.
I enjoyed the match. The crowd was chanting cowboy shit like the whole time. There was even at one time people chanting bastard shit, which is kind of funny. But bastard shite would be British, and that would be better. Yes, they should have been chanting that.
Yeah.
What a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I thought there wasn't enough cowboy shit brought to this match. I don't think Page brought his A game despite him winning.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, it was a good match and everything.
It was entertaining. Yep.
Yeah, it was entertaining. It was all right. But I like the Rhinestone Cowboy.
Shawn Spears defeats Joey Janela in an 11-minute, 42-second match. It was nothing special. The high point was Shawn Spears tying Joey Janela's hair to the ring rope.
And it's hanging.
It's hanging, and then Janela makes his comeback. There's a what do you do? Like take off the turnbuckle or something, or grab a chair or something. Ref's distracted. Tully Blanchard assists a spike pile driver with Shawn Spears.
Helps for the cheater to win. Yep.
That's that.
Yep.
AEW World Tag Team Title 3-way match. Here's our triple threat. SCU defeats the Lucha Brothers and Private Party.
Yep.
Do I have how long this match went? I should. Only 13 minutes and 7 seconds. Not very long at all.
It was pretty quick too.
Very short. Was not expecting that. It just kind of just when it felt like we were all getting into the swing of things, it just kind of ends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Post-match, the Lucha Brothers.
Well, it was supposed to be 60 minutes too.
Well, no, it's just 60 minutes time limit. They can't go over that.
But they're giving them enough time, to do something. You've got all these people. And then it ends up how many minutes?
13.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite short. Yeah, maybe get some time away from that Spears Janela match, or maybe just don't have that match on the pay-per-view at all. Especially from what we saw, the following Wednesday, that they're going to continue that. Kind of what was the point then situation. So they could have added more to the triple threat match here. But the Lucha Bros go for a beating on SCU after the match, and another Pentagon Jr. comes out. They do the whole in a mirror thing. They mirror each other. Then the other Pentagon takes out Pentagon Jr. using Christopher Daniels moves. At least my section, we all knew who it was. Takes the mask off. Yes, it's Christopher Daniels, the guy who Pentagon Jr. Took out of the tag team tournament. He's got the face paint on. He's real wild. So I'm hoping the next time we see Pentagon Jr. on Dynamite, Christopher Daniels isn't done with him because he took away his tag title opportunity. Despite SCU winning, it is not Christopher Daniels who is the tag champion. So I'm hoping they follow it up with a singles feud, Pentagon and Daniels. I think that'd be really fun to watch. If they don't, well then I guess it just ends here. I think he should have interfered in the match. What about you? instead of showing up afterwards.
That would have made more sense.
They're about to like take someone out real bad, and he saves his buddy because there's no disqualification anyways.
Right. He could have done anything. He could have done something with the mask on and then take it off. Well, they don't ask us for the writing, so maybe we should put it out there.
Oh, well. Now you're sounding like a true wrestling podcaster. Riho versus Emi Sakura, teacher versus student. Thank God they showed the short video prior. And I will tell you personally, the audience immediately cared so much more about this match, because when it first came on and the music, right before the video happened, there was a few people, at least in my immediate section, that were about to leave. And then when that video started playing and people started like talking about it, they immediately sat back down. And they stayed, and people were talking about it. They were impressed. They're like, "Oh my God, Emi Sakura is 46."
Right.
They thought she was like in her mid-20s.
No, she's actually 43.
40. Oh, I thought she was 43. 46.
No,
I thought 43. 26 years.
24.
Right. Emi Sakura's got like 26 years experience. It shows them. Emmy's talking about, if this was a Hollywood story, the student would win, but I'm here to, prove that the teacher is still better, kind of situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was for the championship too, so that Riho isn't going to give it up.
Oh, not necessarily.
It's not going to win, and it didn't. What a surprise!
Well, and if you...
A freaking 98-pounder? Really? I mean, come on. Give me a break.
Well, the video that they showed was quite nice. It showed him in Gatoh Move, which is the little Thailand promotion where it shows him like in a classroom wrestling.
Yeah.
That's where they make their money. They wrestle. They've had like 200 matches with each other. They mentioned that they're 2-2 in title matches against each other. They're totally even. So this was a major misstep to building the women's division right here. Not building this up more, since it was so easily done.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, it was a 13-minute match. The crowd ended up loving it. Mm-hmm. It mimicked kind of their 1v1 from the tag match the week before, and Riho wins. Very good.
Surprise!
Now, did you actually like this match? It was a women's match with two veterans. Did you like it?
I would have liked it more if Sakura won.
Oh, okay.
I'm just against Riho. I just don't. I'm not feeling Riho. I can't feel Riho. I don't think she's even belongs in wrestling. She's a 98-pound piece of wood. I just don't like her. She needs steroids.
Oh my God.
Well,
and people were clamoring for me to ask you to get back on Team Riho, and I'm like, no. I will not ask her. I don't care if you're my mom. You are not allowed on the team. Listen to you talk now. Just further amplifies how much you were not on Team Riho.
I look at all the other women wrestlers, and they've got meat, they've got power, they've got moves. Riho is like she reminds me of a rag doll, and anybody can throw her up against something. And for her to win against these strong women, it's just, to me, it's a sham against the women that truly are wrestlers.
A sham?
It's a sham.
I can't believe you call it a sham. That is such 1950s of you. This is a sham, a hoopla.
Riho will never, ever get my backing.
Ooh, harsh words.
Never.
I would never say such negative things about Riho.
She would have to build some arm muscle. She has no muscles.
Chris Jericho versus Cody for the AEW World Title.
Lame.
Excuse me?
It was lame.
Why was it lame?
It was lame.
Chris Jericho comes to the ring with Jake Hagar, his big muscle. Cody comes to the ring with his best friend, MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
So we thought.
Oh, we thought they were best friends.
So we thought.
So why was this match lame?
First of all, Jericho's an ass, and he's not going to give up anything. And for anybody to beat Jericho I will be amazed. Because everything's wrapped around Jericho. Everything's Jericho.
Well, he's Le Champion.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I just, I don't,
okay.
I'm not feeling it.
Let me take us through the match then.
Go ahead.
Pretty much 50-50. They're feeling each other out at first. Afraid to make a mistake. It has a big match feel. It had kind of a Michael Buffer entrance of the past. You remember Michael Buffer. Let's get ready to rumble guy.
Yes.
Okay. Has that kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Then eventually, Jericho's on the ramp. Cody goes for kind of like a shoulder tackle over the top. He brains himself really hard on the ramp. Looked horrid. He busts himself open real bad.
Yeah, that was pretty
the
bad.
hard way. They're all scared that the match was going to end. They somehow close the wound up a little bit. Jericho attacks it.
Well, they put liquid Band-Aid on him.
Yeah. They did mention that the judges are ringside. I had a perfect vantage point of the judges, not writing down anything like the entire match, so they're totally fake. I can't believe it. The judges were Dean Malenko, Arn Anderson, and the Great Muta, all whom have heavy connections to Cody or Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho giving Dean Malenko kind of the stink eye, and Cody's families were also ringside at one point. Cody's mom slaps Jericho, which was quite funny. There's some interference happening. Jake Hagar eventually gets ejected, but not before beating up MJF. There's a huge near fall when Cody hits his finisher that the entire arena just thought that was over. That was going to be it. Cody's won, but Jericho kicks out.
Right.
And then finally, Chris Jericho does a pretty sick reversal from the turnbuckle, puts Cody in the walls of Jericho, the Boston Crab, if you will. Cody does fight out of it, but Jericho gets it right back, kicks him in the head a few times. He's in the middle of the ring. Cody just can't go anywhere. And this is when the audience sees MJF with the towel. And I'm looking in the corner just going, there's MJF. He's got a towel. Don't do it. Don't you do it, MJF. He throws the towel in. Now.
And I say, WTF.
And that's what the crowd said. Crowd's pissed off. I'm like shaking my head going, oh my God. You know, if you were going to do a towel finish, this should have been like, I don't know. I've seen towel finishes work. I've seen towel finishes work before, but it's usually with like a friend in dire straits. His limb is like gonna get cut off or something wild.
Right.
Some crazy story. He
wasn't in dire straits at all.
Well, he was, because he couldn't move and he was in the middle of the ring and he wasn't going to tap out because the story is he'll never be able to challenge for the title again.
Right.
So the only way Cody was going to get out of this and not get permanently hurt, you know, MJF threw in the towel for his best friend. You know, keep him healthy, fight another day, at least for something else.
However,
so Jericho celebrates. The Inner Circle meets him on the stage. They're popping the bubbly in celebration. And there's MJF in the middle of the ring, on his knees, crying, weeping for Cody to forgive him. The crowd's chanting, "You fucked up." You know, everyone's pissed. Everyone's mad at MJF.
They chant asshole or something?
Well, Cody finally gets over his anger, and because Cody's a good guy, and he realizes that MJF was just looking out for him, and
so he thought.
Just as he puts his hand on his shoulder and forgives MJF, MJF punts him in the nuts, pushes him down,
knocks him down.
Crowd boos heavily. I'm going, no, he's your best friend. How could you do it? Devastating turn. MJF leaves, but not before some fans throw some beer on him. There's other fans in the arena chucking like beer cans at the ring that don't make it. You can see it.
Yeah, I saw one fan. He actually nailed MJF.
Supposedly they might have been plants, but that doesn't make up for the like 4 or 5 other fans that I did see throw things at the ring that just didn't make it.
Right.
Even the 2 fans that chucked beer, they got stuff thrown at them as they were being escorted out.
Oh, wow.
There was like multiple fights in the arena, like when MJF threw in the towel because they were so pissed off at the finish. So if MJF didn't kick Cody in the balls, people were gonna leave just super angry that the towel finish happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the MJF turn saved it.
Pardon me.
Nonetheless, I liked the match.
Yeah.
But if the MJF turn did not happen, I would not have liked it as much as I did.
Mm-hmm.
And Le Champion is still Le Champion.
Yes, he is still a champion.
And Cody can never challenge
Never.
for the AEW World title again. Then we got the lights out match, the no holds barred, no DQ thing. Moxley versus Omega. It goes 38 minutes, 46 seconds of pure mayhem. What'd you think?
I liked it.
You liked it, but not the Jericho Cody match. This is interesting. I must hear more.
Well, if I would stop coughing, I need water. From now on, I need to bring water. Water to the table. I
always have water next to me during a podcast.
Oh my God. Well, you need to tell me these things.
Got to keep the throat moisturized.
Well, it was kind of, I thought the board with the mousetraps was really funny. I mean, there was a lot of good stuff that, they were doing. The table with them both falling onto the barbed wire table.
The barbed wire spider net thing that they had on the outside at the ramp. Yeah, it was nuts.
Oh my God. And then rubbing the barbed wire on his arm. Oh, and then on his back and all the glass. I'm not sure that is glass. I think it was like plexiglass, actually. Because if it were glass, they would have all that glass in their skin and they would have to go to the hospital and get it surgically removed, pieces taken out of their back.
Thought they did something interesting with these spots where they did a sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like a stage turn, which is you provide the audience with something real, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then other spots that are technically more dangerous or could do bodily harm to you even more so are the fake ones. So the audience is now primed to believe everything else is real. So they do the broom spots with the barbed wire and cut their skin for real. So then when they do the pulverized plexiglass or pulverized quartz or whatever the quote-unquote glass is and I really like this, Kenny Omega has the sharpshooter in Moxley and over the glass, and Moxley has to crawl through the glass, get to the ropes and leverage himself up to get out of it. Right. It was a good little spot for toughness. Yeah. And as you say, I don't think it was real too, but the audience thought it was real. And I thought that was a really cool spot. Same thing with the barbed wire spider net thing. A lot of the barbs were probably cut away. Because if it was real barbed, I've seen barbed wire matches. No, your hair gets stuck in there. They have to cut them away.
Oh yeah.
They just kind of rolled out of it. So
here's the thing too, and this was what I was watching also, was the people helping him out, and their arms are not getting any blood exposed. Right.
So all those spots that were used prior was to set up to make you think a lot of these more dangerous spots were real.
Right.
Which is a really cool turn ahead. Yeah. look at the left hand as I move the right situation.
Yeah.
But the audience was just like, holy shit, everything, right?
Right.
So it was
because honestly, if they went and they both fell on that barbed wire, oh my God, there would be emergency crews.
This isn't the ECW like late 90s thing where people are getting chucked through big glass.
That would have been,
I'm shocked you like this match.
You still can't. Well, it was a lot of action. You still can do damage with the little part that you have. I mean, that was obvious. But when was it Moxley taking Omega's head and then taking a piece of glass and like cutting it across his forehead,
Well, see, I think that one piece was real to make you believe the rest of it was real. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But there's I mean, honestly, he didn't actually do it. He did his finger over it because there was nothing that was on his forehead.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I was watching that. I go, oh shit, oh my God. And I saw there was nothing there. So he actually just made it look like he was doing it, but he really wasn't doing it.
My other favorite spot in this match was there was a Full Gear kind of sphere symbol on the stage, and Omega has, or Moxley's like kind of next, or like directly in front of it, and then Omega pump knees him through the AEW symbol, Full Gear symbol there.
Yeah.
And I'm like all set up. I'm like, oh my God, he's going through it. Kicks him, goes right. They both disappear.
Yeah.
From my view, they just disappear.
Yeah.
And it was such a cool thing. They get back in the ring. Eventually, Moxley takes apart the ring to expose just the wooden boards.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Omega does a Phoenix splash, of all things, onto the boards, what looks like it just sucked to land on. He'll be bruised. And then Moxley DDTs him onto it and gets the win. Everyone in the audience was like super scared. We were going to get stuck in downtown Baltimore because everything closed at midnight. I got there like a minute before the garage closed. I just got out of there in time.
Oh my gosh.
But this match was very polarizing. A lot of people either liked it or they vastly disliked it. Because of the quote unquote brutality of it all.
Oh.
They're like, like what you. It was the whole kind of, like what you like kind of excuse. It's not my thing. I don't know.
Well,
I hate that reasoning.
I liked it. Maybe I was in the mood for brutality that day.
Well, maybe after watching Jimmy Havoc razor wire people on MLW, you're just like, this pussy shit.
Yeah, right. And I'm glad Moxley won because at least he deserved a win.
All of the elite lost this night. Must add that whole group lost. Well, no, Hangman Page won of all people. The only exception.
Rhinestone Cowboy.
Rhinestone Cowboy won. And that'll bring us into last Wednesday, and we'll just go through this really quick. We're going a little bit long here.
I hear you.
AEW Episode 7, November 13th, 2019, from Nashville, where real cowboy shit happens. Am I right?
Giddy up.
Nice recap of what went down at Full Gear, which, by the way, did you like Full Gear, top to bottom?
I did. I thought it was entertaining. It kept me watching.
And your favorite match was?
My favorite match was the last one with the barbed wire stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just have to tell everyone on Twitter that my mom really liked the hardcore match. I guess you guys just aren't as hip to the hip on the match. Anyways.
Hip to the pain.
Yeah. All right. Hip pain.
Hip pain.
We all know something about hip pain in our older years. So then we cut to Omega being checked up on by a doctor, whom tells Omega it's best you take a week off due to his body all beat up from Moxley. He's got a huge black eye, scars all over his back.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
And before Omega leaves, he asks
that black eye was so fake.
Mother, it was totally super real.
It was so fake. They could have done a better job on that.
Well, maybe Moxley should have hit him harder. So before Omega leaves, he asks the Doc, "How'd Moxley make out?" And Doc says, "Well, he is beat up, but he's cleared. He's cleared to wrestle." And Omega looks at his friend Nakazawa, just totally devastated. Didn't get the job done, kind of deal. And that cuts to the first match. Omega's friend Nakazawa against Jon Moxley.
It was a quick match, but it was crazy fun.
So Nakazawa, known for his baby oil, throws his baby oil away because this is going to be a serious fight on behalf of his friend.
Oh, God.
Jon Moxley makes quick work of him. Then he cuts a promo calling out the entire locker room, says nobody has the balls to face him. But if you do, then kiss your family goodbye, have the ambulance on speed dial, and don't expect an apology. So there you go. Dark Order against Jurassic Express. I thought this was a fun match. The little dudes are super over with the crowd.
Oh my God, Jungle Children.
Jungle Children?
Yes. That was so ridiculous. It was just goofy, miss-size matching on that. That was just, Jungle Children. That's what I call them, Jungle
Well,
Children.
The Jungle Children did lose. Evil Uno post-match.
Yeah, surprise. Dark Order, the Minions. Yeah, hello. It's like a... Brutosaurus comes out.
Luchasaurus.
Oh, I call him Brutosaurus.
Brutosaurus. Where'd you get that name?
That's what I thought he said.
Oh, I forgot to ask.
What?
So you've known MJF as Cody's friend for 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Do you think he turned on his friend too early? Do you think enough time had passed for you to feel betrayed? Or did you just expect it to happen at some point?
I didn't expect it to happen at all. Other than possibly MJF is joining AEW and he's getting out of MLW.
Well, I mean, that's already true.
That's already been determined.
Well, he's got kind of a double contract going.
I see.
Okay, so you were shocked by it. What about the Moxley Omega? Do you think enough time had passed to justify such a brutal match?
What do you mean?
Well, a lot of people were criticizing the match, saying that the rivalry was not built up enough.
Well, I'm stymied as to the question.
So Omega Moxley have this super hardcore match to kind of end their rivalry of sorts, right?
Okay.
It's super brutal. Do you think this is too early for them? Should they have had a regular match first and then fight some more and then build up to this level of match?
No, I think this was. I thought that was perfect timing.
Okay.
I thought it was a perfect timing because Moxley needed to move on, and that whole little game that was going on needed to be moved on.
Well, okay, I agree.
And he took care of it. And Moxley's moving on.
He's moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So back to the Dark Order and the Jungle Children, as you call them. Evil Uno is looking at little Marco stunt after the match, and Evil Uno with the minions offers up a mask for little Marco to join, and Marco starts to reach for it.
Oh,
but
right. Yeah.
Jungle Boy stops him from taking the mask, gives him a
was
dinosaur
silly.
mask, and said, he already has a mask. Dark Order goes, I understand. Now get him! So all the minions beat him down. It doesn't look like it's a Big beatdown, but then Luchasaurus comes.
Brutosaurus.
And he goes full Steven Seagal on all the minions and saves his buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Big pop from the crowd. You like Luchasaurus?
Uh-huh.
You do?
I just called him Brutosaurus.
Okay.
I like that name better. Well, maybe there needs to be somebody called Brutosaurus.
No. Maybe. I don't think so. Anyways. Darby Allin defeats Peter Avalon and Shawn Spears in a triple threat. Janela does show up and take Spears out of the match essentially, so that's continuing. That's kind of where I get the whole idea. What was the point of the pay-per-view match then? And then after the match,
Darby Allin's going after Moxley now.
Yes, after the match, Darby Allin says, "I accept" to Moxley.
Mm-hmm. I like Darby Allin though. I think he's got good moves. He's quick. He's fast. I like him.
There you go. Nyla Rose squashes Danny Jordan.
Surprise on that one.
Allie's doing an interview, and she gets attacked by Awesome Kong and Brandy.
I want to know what happens when she breaks a nail. Does she call 911?
Who?
Nyla Rose. Did you see her nails? Jeez Louise.
Did not.
She's a beast.
Well, that is her nickname.
She's a beast?
Yeah,
Beast?
She's the...
Nyla Rose the Beast?
The Native Beast is her name.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, she's
finisher
good.
is the Beast Bomb, I believe is what it's called.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, she is a beast. She's got some badass nails.
She's Native American as well.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome
and
Kong.
That was a fair match. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what you want to see.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know, that was a fair matched up women wrestling.
Okay. Awesome Kong attacks Allie, takes some of her hair. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm quite afraid Awesome Kong is just going to get a title match against Riho and kill her.
I hope.
I'm very afraid of that. I don't want to see that happen.
I hope.
No, it's going to be terrible if that happens.
You know what? Riho's missing little frilly underwear under her little skirt.
She's got
thing.
like a tutu on.
Under her skirt, she needs like what babies wear when you have
diaper?
a little, yeah.
What? I will not take this Riho slander on this podcast. She wasn't even on the show tonight. Man.
It's just my image. She needs some frilly underwear pants, you know.
Your Riho hate is reaching new bounds I am not ready for.
Diapers and a blankie and a baba set her up. So
oh God, you're just the worst. You're such a heel.
I hope I hope Awesome Kong annihilates her.
I don't want any of that. That would devastate my heart. Jericho and MJF out in the ring. Jericho comes out first.
Le Champion.
Le Champion comes out first, brags about his victory, and then the American Nightmare Cody's music hits, and out comes MJF instead. The crowd boos. They chant asshole.
Asshole, yeah.
They hate him. Uh-huh. Jericho gives him the floor because MJF says he has to get stuff off his chest. He proceeds to bury Cody. Says Cody doesn't actually care about you. Cody was holding him back this whole time. He used him. He abused him.
Mm-hmm.
And then him and Jericho stand off against each other.
Mm-hmm.
MJF says, Christopher, I'm a big fan. If there was a Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, he'd be 3 or 4. And Jericho, some reason, takes this as a compliment.
So, who is Wardlow?
Wardlow.
We'll
get to that in a second.
Okay.
Because Chris Jericho and MJF, they're jacking at each other. MJF goes, I think you want me in a part of your inner circle jerk. Freudian slip. Jericho makes fun of MJF right back, and he goes, well, it's almost, I see a lot of you, a lot of you and, or a lot of me and you. We're both ruggedly handsome. We're both great talkers. We're both incredibly talented in the ring. But it's almost like your parents watched me 25 years ago in WCW facing off against Juventud Guerrera, and then 9 months later, you popped out.
And
MJF says,
who's Hoover?
Who's Hoovy? And he just puts his hand on his shoulder. Google it, man. Google it. MJF and Jericho refuse to admit whom wants whom in the inner circle. They have a little back and forth, kind of like a who's on first moment.
Right.
And it ends up leading to, but we can agree on one thing. Who's the biggest loser in AEW? And they both go, Cody! Ah, ha, ha, ha. They cackle like the couple of bad guys they are. Mm-hmm. And out comes Cody. He's pissed. He loses his balance because he's so injured and his equilibrium's all off, says the commentary. He gets beaten down, but just as he's coming back, Wardlow shows up and takes out Cody, hangs him with his tie from the rope, and he's with MJF.
Oh.
Wardlow and MJF are together. So kind of like Hammerstone and MJF and MLW.
Mm-hmm.
MJF has his huge muscle-bound brute with him.
Okay.
Wardlow...
Because I had never seen him.
No, he had like one video vignette on like the first episode of Dynamite that you could have easily forgotten in between now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So big surprise, he's showing up. And I truly believe in my gut that Shawn Spears and Tully are going to join MJF and be in his group.
Really?
I think it would benefit the whole group that they get some more members to go against the Inner Circle and the Elite. And it just makes sense. I have no evidence to base any of this. It's just my gut feeling.
So you're thinking MJF being the asshole he is gonna, like Jericho, he's gonna have his own little group.
Yes, that's what I think.
So what? It's gonna be Dark Order against Jericho against MJF.
Dark Order? You mean the Elite?
Dark Order with the Minions.
I mean, they're their own little tag team thing. They don't have a big group or anything.
So. Okay.
Pac and Adam Page have another match for some reason, and this time Pac wins. I thought
Which
that
was weird.
I thought it was weird too.
Yeah.
They do a lot. Okay. They must be doing an old best of 7 thing because they keep trading wins at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They're also trading moves and sequences that have finished previous matches. So I don't know if they will truly follow up with any of this, but I find it hard to imagine a winner not coming out with a title shot at this point between these two guys.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know why Page lost after immediately winning a pay-per-view match. Just feels really strange. You agree with this?
Right. I mean, it was a good match, but
no doubt bad. It wasn't good, or it wasn't bad. That's for sure.
Right. But I like your theory.
Yeah, Young Bucks, Santana Ortiz are brawling backstage. There's a really funny spot where Santana throws, I believe it's Nick Jackson, into the bathroom door, and there was Orange Cassidy hanging out just when the bathroom door opens.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah, that was funny.
Kind of looks around, closes it really slowly, like that was weird. They eventually keep brawling. You can see in the background that Moxley is just kind of hanging out, which I thought was funny as well. And then they mimic the spot where they threw the Rock and Roll Express through the stage. They do the same thing to Matt Jackson. So that makes sense why no one came out and saved Cody when he's getting beaten down. It's because Omega's got the night off, and the Young Bucks were fighting backstage. So it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then announced on social media prior to this Dynamite, Jericho called for a tag team title match because him and Guevara were the only undefeated tag team in AEW outside of the tag champion. So he demanded to be the opportunity of double Le Champion with Sammy Guevara. They do so they come out, they do a funky little pose of Sammy laying down on his side, and Jericho's got his elbow in it. The commentary was very adamant about calling Guevara the Spanish God, which I'm really getting a kick out of. He's the best ever, and he's won like one match.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I've only seen him in a match once. What the hell?
But it was a good match, and in the end, Scorpio Sky yet again wins off a small package and pins Le Champion.
I like that.
Chris Jericho has a fit afterwards. He is not happy.
No, he was very pissed. Yay.
So there we go. I went through that episode of Dynamite quite fast. Got my quips in. What did you think over this episode of Dynamite after Full Gear? Do you have any theories going on? Any opinions? Any negatives, positives?
No, I just like Darby Allin, actually. I think he's going to be doing some stuff here.
So you're excited for the Moxley match next Wednesday?
I am. I am excited
this Wednesday.
For that. Yeah, for this Wednesday. Yeah, I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
I want to see more Darby Allin, actually.
So we have a question for you to end this cast, for you and me, or particularly for you.
Oh, God.
If AEW were to introduce another title, who do you think should be the first champion? So think of like the middleweight championship. It's not the main title. It's the second one, if you will. Think of the Intercontinental Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Who should be that champion?
It's a question between Rhinestone Cowboy and possibly Darby Allin.
I like that. You don't think Hangman Page should be going for the world title though?
I think he could build up to it.
So he's losing against Pac. This other title comes in, he wins that and kind of builds his credibility back. Darby Allin's kind of perfect for him kind of situation. Gotcha. I could feel that. You don't think Riho should win that title? Get a second title around her?
She ain't gonna win shit.
98 pounds of fury?
Oh, God. She better not be by bad wind. She'll be like that. The tornado picks her up and throws her into some other state.
And then we have another question for you.
All right.
Whom have we not seen enough of on AEW Dynamite?
Whom have we not seen enough of?
Like, who would you like to see more of? Or someone you haven't seen at all?
Well, I do like Scorpio Sky, but
Thinking.
Does it have to be just a person, or can it be the team, or can
it can be a team? Tag teams count.
I would like to see more. I would like to see more Scorpio Sky, SCO. I'm not familiar very much with the Santana Ortiz group. I haven't seen them very much.
Well, they're pretty new. I mean, they've been on the show, just about every show since they showed up. In some form or fashion.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've only had the one match on Dynamite, I believe, and that was that like 2-minute one.
Yeah. So, Private Party is kind of fun too, but we see a lot of them. But of those, I'd like to see more SCU and possibly Santana or Ortiz, because I really haven't. I'm not familiar with them. I haven't seen them very much, and I've only seen SCU a couple of times.
Well, you saw him in the tag title tournament, and now
Right.
you've seen him here.
Right.
They've been on every show just about. But,
but
Scorpio Sky, you want to see more.
Yeah.
Specifically more of. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because in August, when they had a pay-per-view, this is before Dynamite started, and Chris Jericho first won the title, and he's going backstage. This is where the whole bubbly thing came from. He's going back to celebrate with a little bit of the bubbly. He's just got a microphone. He's just yelling at people, just going, "I'm Le Champion, you suck, Scorpio." And as he's passing the hallway, he says, "Scorpio Sky, you'll never get a shot at this." This is from like 3.5 months ago.
Okay.
So it's a little, just a nice little quip from the past that they kind of touched on. It's like, I guess everything happens for a reason. You just, even the little things, you just don't even notice it.
Right.
Yeah. I really like the tag title champions won the tag match, even though the world champion was in it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense to me that the team that's the best at tag team wrestling won the tag match.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I think Scorpio Sky is going to get a title shot against Chris Jericho.
That would be good. That would be a good one.
Because he did pin him after all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to see
all right.
that. Yep.
So now's the $1 million question.
What?
I think the favorite is AEW this cast. I mean, it was 3-1 this time, much like MLW was 3-2 last time, I believe. Mm-hmm. But you still picked AEW last time. What is the show you like the most this time, AEW or MLW?
I really enjoyed Full Gear. I thought there was a lot of action, especially with the barbed wire thing. It wasn't so bloody, but it was entertaining. I thought Full Gear was very entertaining. Mm-hmm. I take AEW this time.
AEW, so it's 2-2, MLW to AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And who was your favorite wrestler for the cast?
So my favorite wrestler...
Rhinestone Cowboy?
No, actually it's Darby Allin.
Darby Allin, growing on the mama.
Mm-hmm.
You got a new wrestler like every week, it seems. Writing all these down.
Okay.
So far, Jacob Fatu is the only one that's won twice.
I even put a star by Darby this time.
Ooh.
Because
he wasn't even a big focal point either.
And he wasn't. And I've seen him before. And I remember him by his moves. And I just think he's got, he's very quick. He's fast. And I like it. I think he's got great moves. I think he's going to be somebody to reckon with later on.
There you go. You've seen him live before, too, as well.
Mm-hmm. I like him.
Well, thank you, Mother, for another amazing episode. I look forward to talking to you. We'll do the podcast together next time. Live.
Looking forward to it. I had a good time. Thank you for having me.
Love you, Mom.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. Oh, welcome back, everybody. It is time for the All Japan Women Classics from Peroso Dream and Samurai TV. We are up to episode 7, moving right along. And this particular Classics episode from the All Japan Women was from 1985, the August 22nd show, AJW Summer Night Festival in Budokan. Venue, Nippon Budokan. got the whole card besides the dark match. And what a card this was. This was, like, when you look at Stardom and you see, like, a Korakuen Hall show or a big Shinkiba show, Nagoya, whatever, wherever it might be, this is the kind of card you will see, with the exception of in Stardom, you get a lot of tags and trios matches. In this case, we got a big-time tag match, 2 big singles matches, and an undercard match. So, a lot to compare there. You can definitely see it. And what we got to start off was a singles match between Monster Ripper, her fabled return, versus Yukari Omori, one half of the Dynamite Girls. Pretty straightforward match. Omori gets a Boston Crab in early, but ultimately Monster Ripper just crushes her. Big leg drop to the back of her head, looked devastating. A big running splash. Just kind of falls on her and locks in. I think it was a Kimura lock of some kind. It was kind of hard to tell from the camera angle. Taps her out. I was really hoping for more of a showcase from Ripper here since I haven't seen her in a while, but oh well. She just has that big-ass presence to her. I really want to see more Monster Ripper. She's a big standout for me going through these AJW classics. I don't think she gets a lot of talk compared to a lot of the other star power of the All Japan women of the past. Moving on, there was a tag team match of Dump Matsumoto and Bull Nakano, full member of Gokaku Dome now, versus Norio Tateno and Itsuki Yamazaki, the Jumping Bomb Angels. So here I'm thinking, man, this is going to be a good match. Oh, it's going to be cool. This turned out to be utter destruction of the Jumping Bomb Angels. So unexpected. I can totally see why this is on the full classic card, because Gokaku Dome just takes it to the outside, beats the shit out of them. They get a double count out for the first fall, and based on the all the other tag matches, especially with Matsumoto and crew going up against the Crush Gals, it was always like one would get a fall, then they'd trade, and then the third one, the baby faces would win every time. This case, it goes to that double count out, and I'm like, what is going to happen? That means the next fall wins, basically. Yamazaki tried to get some sort of momentum for her team, but goddamn Dome kept interfering. Those heels, those bastards, just kept her out of the match, of course, resorting to a trash can by Dump Matsumoto, just isolated Tateno, just hard, leading to one particular member of Dome, a young rainbow-haired woman, I believe to be Condor Saito. She helped interfere the most out of all the members, including an assisted spike pile driver with Bull Nakano, with Dump holding their victim, and they won. Just done and over with, quick. Whew. Was not expecting it. It was a different tag match that I've been clamoring for last couple episodes of All Japan Women. This was followed up with the IWA Championship, the champion Devil Masami versus Chigusa Nagayo. So this was the Crush Gals night in singles competition. Huge entrances for both. Crowd chants Chigusa heavily as she comes out with the massive white banners, while Devil Masami is in her full purple Queen Demon entrance gear with her assistants and crew. Felt like true stars here. It's a slower match with lots of mat work, with Chigusa gaining control, as she should in this situation with her background and the way she wrestles. Masami does escape to the outside, but then Chigusa shockingly does a suicide dive and the crowd ignites. Masami with her team around her as she swishes her mouth of blood now and spits in the bucket. She gets a devilish smile on her face. She grabs a metal rod and thinks about taking it into the ring as she gets up on the apron. She gives it second thought as Chigusa's in the ring, egging her on, saying like, bring it bitch kind of situation. I don't know what she was actually saying, but like to think she was swearing. Masami decides to hand the rod back, and Devil Masami's character is just so good. What she does is her hair's like in front of her face. She just pulls it back, cocks her head, and she just gets this devilish looking evil look on her. And from that point, it turns into kind of like this shoot fight, right? It looked like a boxing match straight out of Rocky, except there was also kicks involved. They're just going back and they're kind of going in and out, in and out. They're floating around the ring like a butterfly. Chigusa's giving high kicks. She's feinting with the other leg. She's trying to punch her. Masami does a crazy combo at one point as she fights back and just like left, right to the middle. That gets Chigusa's arms down, and then she just clocks her real hard, and Chigusa falls to the mat. Just looks like a devastating combo. I can't say I've seen very many matches like this. It was so different, and they pulled it off just amazingly well. So yeah, Masami does that crazy combo, just clocks Chigusa, busts her nose straight open, so actually got her. Chigusa eventually gets back up, knocks Masami down with a huge head kick after a big feint knee. But then she goes down as well, so it's kind of like a fighting spirit situation. She's crawling around on the ring with her legs, so her equilibrium's totally off. Masami's just knocked down. She's laying on her back. Both can't reach their feet before the 10 count. What a fun match. The match apparently went for 36 minutes in total. This particular version of the All Japan Women Classics was cut down to about half that. And I felt like I didn't miss a thing, so the production was quite on the point with that one. So I imagine it would have had a lot more character work, a lot more blocking. And to my surprise, it was kind of a 50-50 of that, because I did find the full 36 minutes. I ended up watching the whole thing again, and even at 36 minutes, this match just, it felt like a kickboxing, judo, all kinds of different matches. It felt like a shoot fight. So very cool stuff. Devil Masami, hell yeah, I wanted to see more of her as well. And this was a great match versus Chigusa Nagayo. And just when I was getting over my hype for that, we got the 3WA championship on the line. Champion Jaguar Yokota versus Lioness Asuka. Whew. So this match goes over 20 minutes. It starts out super fast with snapmare bridge-up exchanges, something I've never seen before. And they regain composure, and it slows down. This is where Jaguar Yokota just takes over. Leg locks, heel hooks, ankle holds. Basically just goes full Bret Hart, Ric Flair over Asuka. I like watching Asuka. I do. Lioness Asuka is great. I know she's good, but man, watching this, Jaguar Yokota is just straight up next level. Everything she does, from facial expressions to the holds itself, to her intensity, down to her ring presence, it's all just superstar level, right? It's amazing to watch, quite frankly. And so when I say go full Hart Flair, I mean Jaguar Yokota totally works the targeted leg simply to set up a devastating figure 4 lock that lasts minutes on end. And it's a fight. Like, can Asuka survive it, the story, right? And Jaguar is just trying all she can to keep her in the hold. Can Asuka turn her over, overcome Jaguar's power? Leads to a comeback, breaking out for Asuka. They do get into the reverse, like, Indian Deathlock situation. And they go back and forth. Asuka breaks out. She dishes it right back. Jaguar escapes the outside before Asuka can return the damage completely. So it's just brilliant stuff. Everything makes sense. Then we get to the second half of the match, where both women simply reversing and mat wrestling leg holds, right? So for a good 75% of the match now, it's just crazy to watch a match where the whole thing basically takes place on the ground in leg holds, with maybe a wrestling move as they get back to their feet temporarily. Finally, in a flurry to finish, so this is like the last 5 minutes, they stand up and go crazy with moves. another fighting spirit situation for both. They're both kind of selling the legwork, but they're overcoming it. So Asuka hits a series of moves that scare the shit out of me. She hits a J Driller. Then there's a tombstone reversal sequence leading to Asuka bouncing off the ropes into a sit-out tombstone. Fuck, man. How Jaguar's neck how is this not broken? How? It just looked crazy hurtful. Ugh. Asuka just runs wild with airplane spins, a release airplane spin. She follows this up, showing off her crazy strength, catching Jaguar in a running standing suplex situation. She walks across the ring and just chucks her over to the top rope to the outside. My God, are you kidding me? Ugh. Do you imagine, talking about the moves before you do the match, or they just call it in the ring? Hey, yeah, get me in a suplex and just throw me out. Asuka just can't keep Jaguar down no matter what, though. She hits a slingshot suplex, a German. Then Jaguar fights back, hits a straight jacket German. Kind of ropes her in with the left hand, right hand, turns her around. It's something Kento Miyahara would do, right? They work to the top rope. Asuka gets her in a suplex situation again, just throws her off, face plants onto the mat. She goes for a diving knee and just misses. Jaguar, with all that leg work, sees this opportunity. That's all she needed. Hits the bridge knee suplex win, so even the finishing move played into the first half of the match. Absolutely nuts. Easily my favorite AJW match I've seen to date on this quest. If you need a recommendation of an old Joshi match, this is the one I'd recommend. This was just crazy. I'd never seen anything remotely like this match unless I compare it to a 1970s Flair match. Just nonsense. It's so good. Whew. I need a drink after that one. That one was so much fun to talk about. Just all different matches, all so good in their own way. All right. I gotta play this drop and move on with the podcast. Just so excited. R-E-D. R-E-D. You know what that means. Time to talk Dragon Gate. Dragon Gate, the Gate of Destiny 2019, took place on the 4th of November 2019. A good show. I wouldn't say it's Dragon Gate's best big show of the year, but this one did have English commentary, so I do recommend trying to seek it out. There were a number of matches. The trios title match was... I'm not really into what Strong Machine is doing. They're okay. They have a weird little manager gimmick going on. They did retain the titles over Maximum. Yeah, fine. I don't agree with Naruki Doi being in this. Anyways, we'll get there. First things first. They had a tag team match random draw to see who teams with who, basically. So we got Masaki Mochizuki teaming with ex-member of Mochizuki Dojo, Shun Skywalker. And then KZ and Yamato were a team. So we had faction leaders. And they definitely played into the dissension between the faction leaders quite well in this match. And then the kind of hesitance, but still working well together of Shun and Mochizuki, being ex-faction members and all. So, first recall Skywalker has lost like 11 matches in a row. He's on a crazy losing streak, and this is all while teaming with the Dream Gate champion, mind you. This was a very solid tag match, despite KZ and Yamato not getting along. They gelled just enough for KZ to hit Impact to beat Skywalker again as his losing streak continues. Mochizuki post-match tries to give him advice despite Skywalker quitting the dojo back at the Dead or Alive event. Keep trying, young lad, don't give up. Skywalker cuts a nice don't give up promo. So there's the long-term story there. They're definitely doing the losing streak gimmick here with him. There was an Open the Brave Gate title match between Susumu Yokosuka trying to defend against Kaito Ishida, the local Osaka boy, hometown young Kaito, up against the tough vet situation. A match kind of simply told in itself right there in the writing. Susumu just kills Ishida's knee and leg early in the match, led to basically the resilient Kaito comeback to overcome the punishment, wins the title. Simple enough, solid match. It told the simple story. It's Kaito Ishida's coming out party, if you will, as Yokosuka has defended the Brave Gate title successfully. So for the young up-and-comer Ishida to get an opportunity to shine with the Brave Gate title, I welcome. This is just another example of Dragon Gate really pushing the young talent and giving them... They're giving their young guys the platform to succeed, and if they don't succeed, maybe they go back to the line, someone else will come up. This is something I think companies like Noah, All Japan, even to an extent... New Japan, you're not seeing the young guys move up, so to say, right? I can compare it to Sho and Yo, two guys with just crazy talent stuck in the junior tag division, doing, well, let's face it, not much, right? I will say I'm not gonna be covering the New Japan San Jose show, but Sho and ELP had a good junior tag title match, which ELP won. It was good, solid. But I liked this Yokosuka Ishida match more because of the leg work. It was a much better story told, and the young gun getting a chance to shine on stage now. I already mentioned the Triangle Gate title match with Strong Machine retaining. Then there was the Twin Gate title match of RED, Big R Shimizu, and Eita taking on Ryo Saito and Yasushi Kanda, still playing into the Red versus Ultimo Dragon faction v faction that's been going on lately. Not a strong team to contend for the title, but here we are. The match only goes 12:29. Compare that to I think it was over 20 minutes of the Brave Gate match. On the surface, this looked like a standard tag match, but I think what's going under the radar here is Shimizu and Eita specifically, are two of the biggest dickheads in Japan and wrestling today. Eita has the charisma and the ring skill, as we saw with the King of Gate tournament, getting all the way to the finals. And Shimizu is just so large and in charge, right? And they just kill these two young guys trying to stand up for their mentor, Ultimo Dragon. Just crazy. And Eita's still got his masked minions that he's going to reveal at some point. They do everything in their can to just beat these guys down. I did like the finish of the punt in the nuts off the distraction from the masked figure, and just rolls him up, and Eita's just situation. This is something you would see in New Japan, but at an event like this, Gate of Destiny, was it the right place? See, I would argue that you would have this Twin Gate match at a one of the Road 2 shows, let's call it, one of their more house shows, and lead to stronger contenders at the Gate of Destiny. So perhaps they could have booked this better in the storyline, but in a vacuum, I quite liked this match. It was short, it didn't overstay its welcome, and that led into the main event, the Open the Dream Gate title match, one I have clamored for ever since Ben K won the title in the summer. It is Ben K versus Masato Yoshino, the Speed Demon himself, in which we just saw him crush Shun Skywalker at the previous show just talked about on his podcast. Yoshino pulling out moves we haven't seen. We see him not pull out too often. one big criticism I'll have of this Yoshino match was the fact they didn't play into that very well at all. I really thought going into this we were going to see a lot more speed between the two guys, since Ben-K has a lot of speed, and Yoshino has that. He's known for his speed, right? Running the ropes faster than anyone you've ever seen. So not enough speed in the match, and not enough callbacks, I think, to that Shun Skywalker match, if you want to tell a story in the ring. What they did tell was Ben-K overcoming Yoshino's kind of presence. And what I like about Dragon Gate on these shows is, so Yoshino and Ben-K had a singles match last year in which the roles were reversed. Yoshino was champion, Ben-K was challenging, and Yoshino comes out on top, right? Now Ben-K's the champion and Yoshino's here. And they show the previous bout at intermission, so to say, right? So you have a match to compare to their match prior. And when you see that, you definitely see a strategy of sorts from how the two operate in the ring. And this wasn't as... it definitely wasn't as good as the Mochizuki match between Ben-K. Because there was a lot of earlier work going on. Mochizuki is much more technical based. He's much more old school in that. And Yoshino's trying to do some more high flying, so it was a much more different dynamic to it. It goes 21-45, and Ben-K, in the finish, they both run the ropes really fast, and then Ben-K hits a spear, over. So we have 3 straight defenses here, in which Ben-K has won with a different move, which is really interesting. We got the Ben-K bomb, which is his main one. You got the headbutt from the Mochizuki match. Now you have the spear. So Ben-K getting over with three huge veterans of Dragon Gate, winning each match with a different move, is a real good story. Post-match, Naruki Doi comes out, and he challenges Ben-K. And from the house shows I've been keeping up with, they've had their tag matches in Naruki Doi. They've had a no contest finish. Naruki Doi getting the pin over Shun Skywalker, etc., etc. It goes on from there. So another veteran has stepped up to try and put down the young gun. Let's see what happens there. I think Ben-K is going to hold this title for at least 2 or 3 more defenses and see who rises up to the occasion. I'm thinking KZ is going to take this title off Ben-K. And I would love to see a KZ run, personally. On to Stardom. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Oh. Well, that is the wrong timestamp I just did. There we go. Alright, Stardom! Hey, last I left off was right before the Korakuen Hall show on November 4th that took place. Just racing right through it so I can get to the awesome stuff to talk about. The 3-way tag battle was okay between the Drunk Queens, Dream Shine, as they're being called, Tam Nakano and Arisa, Bobby Tyler and Hana Kimura, which I love that tag team much more than them as a more serious team. The Saya team, they're trying. Big Saya is doing running shooting star presses that just look absolutely amazing, especially for her size. I don't like her dancing idol gimmick. I don't think it matches the way she wrestles. It doesn't match her charisma. It just doesn't match. It's not doing it for me. And every match I watch with Saya Kamitani, it just further convinces me of the same. I'm definitely not a fan of Jungle Kyona and Konami losing a lot of their matches. Jungle Kyona gets pinned yet again by Natsuko Tora, which is really weird because I didn't even notice she was in the match. Hazuki Hazuki's had a very low-key second half to the year. Ever since she lost the high-speed title, she's definitely played back fiddle to everything else going on in Stardom, be it Riho coming in and taking that title, the rise of Tokyo Cyber Squad, Arisa's run, and all the other stories. Hazuki is just, same with Momo, actually, just not been at the forefront of Stardom. Needless to say, one of two things is going to happen here. TCS here, Jungle Kyon and Konami, are going to be weak champions defending the title and lose, which I think does no one no good, or they've lost a lot and now they've set up a lot of opponents to run through them and look like strong champions, build up the title, build up their credibility again, a longer term story, and then they'll put over a strong a team that will look strong in beating the team that just rolled through a lot of defenses. I'm hoping it's that second one and they just don't straight up lose after they've just gotten killed in the tag league here. In my favorite tag league match, I've spoken quite more on the negative side of my feelings of how Blue Block in general has gone, with everyone's just kind of 50-50'd throughout, so it just creates a weak quote-unquote weak team going to the finals against the undefeated top Gaijins. If the top Gaijins don't win, then I guess you could argue that the Blue Block at that point was just so competitive that they all beat each other, and the Red Block wasn't competitive enough, but I definitely just see it the other way around. But needless to say, Riho and Starlight Kid against Momo and Azumi, which is funny because I mentioned I just didn't know like who stands out on top in this tag league other than the top Gaijins. That's B. Priestley and Jamie Hayter. There's a promo that Starlight Kid and Riho cut before this match. They go, I don't know where we stand in the tournament. Can we still win? And they just look at each other going, I don't know. And then Momo and Azumi just go, let's do our best. And they just run away. So, but that, needless to say, this was my favorite tag match of the tournament. I guess you could say that I think it was the Mayu and her Yankee partner against Riho and Starlight was the second best match. I think you could say that. But I really like the dynamic between here because on one side you have Azumi and Starlight who have amazing chemistry together. And on the other side you have Riho and Momo, which is very interesting because Momo is a Stardom grad at the top of the card, and Riho's the Gatoh grad at the top of the card there. And she's the high speed and AEW champion. So the 1v1s here were very good, and the dynamic between Starlight and Riho just work because they have very similar moveset. Besides Starlight doing more of the lucha maneuvers, while Riho does, I guess you could say, the Tokyo Joshi maneuvers, where it's a lot more. It doesn't look as smooth, right? But in a lot of so. Riho does a lot more knees and running maneuvers while Momo stands and does the kicks. So how they interacted was very different. And a lot of this new blood we're seeing in Stardom, you could bring this back to Jamie Hayter coming in from the UK, B. Priestley, Riho, the eventual Julia, who's officially coming when Bushi Road takes over on December 1st. She's coming in. Andres Miyagi from Sendai. You have a lot more styles diversifying the Stardom portfolio, if you will, which is going to be really cool heading into 2020. And that's what Riho brings to Stardom here, and we definitely saw it in this match. It was quite cool. This is my favorite match of the entire tournament. So, on to Arisa taking on Jamie Hayter for the white belt. If we remember, during the 5-star Grand Prix, Arisa and Jamie Hayter they laid an egg. They had a stinker. The match was awful. I hated it. Ugh. So in this match, they killed it. Oh, it was so much better. I was so excited. Oh my god. Arisa it starts out just fantastic, right? Arisa's getting the streamer, she's doing her big pose. Jamie Hayter just fucking tackles her right through the streamers. It's a great image. Beats her up, and they proceed to have a fight, right? Jamie's ducking in and out of the kicks, but on the third kick, Arisa hook kicks her, bang, Osprey style, Jamie Hayter's doing her power moves, putting Arisa down. They're grabbing each other's hair, very reminiscent to the Hazuki match, which I really loved, by the way. It's definitely one of my top Joshi matches of the year, women's matches of the year. So I saw a lot of that in this. They're chopping each other. And then finally, Arisa does come back, hits a freaking Oz cutter from the corner. There's a lot of that going around. Keeps it in, Brazilian kick, just cracks her. Jamie Hayter goes down, but it wasn't enough. Gets her again with the blackout knee. Oh my god, I'm trying to remember the finish now. Yes, that is, she runs the ropes and gets her with a second blackout knee and just cracks her, and that keeps her down. So she gets on the mic, she celebrates. No challenger, I believe, after this match. Now that I think about it. Ooh. Oh, of course. Now I know why. On to the red belt, the World of Stardom title, Bea Priestley defending against Mayu Iwatani. With Bushiroad, everyone kind of expected Mayu to win with the 2-year-long journey. This match, I went on a rant on Jay's podcast, Smack It Down, with JPQ was there as a guest as well. How we went on about the Emi Sakura Riho match. We talked about the Bea Priestley run. How spoiler, Bea Priestley does lose the title to Mayu Iwatani. How Bea Priestley's run, when she initially got the title, people hated it. And then by the end of it all, people are giving her standing ovations, saying they respect her, great job. It really just shows how much Bea Priestley has improved and changed the mind of the masses, if you will. This match, I quite loved, because of a big factor of, as the match went on, yes, things got sloppy, but I don't know, it just worked. It made it feel more real. It played into the exhaustion levels of the opponents quite well. There was a real scary bump where it looks like Mayu Iwatani is going to do a Frankensteiner from the top rope, in which Bea Priestley is supposed to catch her and do a sort of power bomb. Seen it a number of times through various promotions, various different wrestlers. Well, what ends up happening is Bea Priestley's back foot slips off the turnbuckle, and no one panics. But Mayu lands very awkwardly on the back of her neck. Luckily, she's made out of pure, adorable rubber, and big smile on her face. She's like, she's so thankful she's not injured. You can see it. You see the reaction to Tom and Arisa ringside. They're just petrified. And there was another move later in the match where she lands on her neck again. But that was more Mayu's just rubberness kind of kicking in. So this roughness, if you will, really played to a realism of the match, and it really got you kind of empathizing with Mayu more and more as the match went on, to the point where when she finally does win the match, you just go, oh, it's like a big sigh of relief, because you think throughout that she's only had one title reign. It lasted for like a bowl of soup, because she had to drop it to injury. And she, in her post-match promo, she even goes, I was afraid I was injured there again, and it was gonna happen again. You see Tom just tackle her in happiness. Arisa's all excited. They have a promo together afterwards where they're doing, they really want to do the title v title situation, just like in New Japan. There's been talk of an IWGP Stardom title. I would love a new design of a Stardom title. Keep the white belt the same. I think that needs to stay true to Stardom. I don't mind the idea of an IWGP Stardom title at all. I think you can make it look like the New Japan title, but you got to keep the red strap. Got to do that. I think that's the most important part. Maybe the nameplates on the side are stars as well. I think you got to play into the history. So, fantastic match, a little rough, but I think it played into the empathy and story more. Bea Priestley just killed it, I thought, in this match. She definitely played a heel, which is lacking in the Joshi scene in general. There's a lot of comedy characters like Maki Ito, who's a heel but you laugh. That's the same with Oedo Tai. They're heels but you laugh. Queen's Quest are just super competitive, serious people. Bea Priestley and Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter, in particular, is a great heel in Stardom. Maybe she plays up to the whole, yelling at the crowd and playing to the doing wordplay a little too much. But Bea Priestley being a cocky Queen's Quest heel, kind of taking over an Io Shirai kind of role in a lot of ways with her charisma. Really got Mayu, I think, really helped to get Mayu over even more. So this was very nice. And then just quickly, there was an Osaka show. I will not get to the Nagoya show. That missed the cutoff date for the podcast. So the Nagoya show has the finish of the Tag League Finals on that with a couple more matches. So just going to have to wait till next time, boys. The Osaka Day show, I quite liked Azumi versus Jungle Kyona. Jungle Kyona gets the win. Starlight Kid against Momo. Momo gets the win there. So good little singles matches. Don't get a lot of that. I believe that's the first time Starlight and Momo faced each other, actually. Yeah. Jungle Kyona, I do want to mention, did cut a funny little just simple promo where she puts her hands together and she says she's going to eat Azumi sushi. It was really funny. Hana Kimura and Death Yamasan, or Death Hana-san, they're really playing up to the whole death gimmick. Yeah, I mean, they're a comedy team. Their finisher is very weak, where Hana just kicks her opponent into the death roll, if you will. The Arisa and Tom tandem has been definitely the big highlight of the tournament, just because of their personalities, let's call it, together. You have a moment in the back where Tom and Arisa are putting on makeup, and Arisa kind of goes, I forgot to put on eyeliner, and Tom just goes, I think it's like, you don't need it, you're cute the way you are, just like sarcastically, and Arisa goes to mess up her makeup, and she's like, I'll still be more cute than you, ha 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 ha. They cut another promo where Tom goes, how am I gonna get along with this person I hate? Where will it take us? And Arisa's like, come on, you still really like me. I know you do, like deep down inside. And Tom's awkward pause. Yeah, right situation. Even in their matches, even in the match here, Natsu against Martina the Drunk Queens, doing their comedy shtick. They're like booting each other and trying to power slam each other on their opponents. They're winning matches more or less. They're in the blue block, so it's 50-50 for a lot of the teams. And then, you had the Mayu Saki against Hazuki handicap match in the main event. Is what it is. It was fine. Just move on. I'll just keep it at that. It's simple enough. Jamie Hayter faced off against Saya Ida, just kind of kicked the shit out of her. Huge height disadvantage there. Konami, Saya Kamitani singles match was very interesting. This is where Saya pulls off a shooting star press, just makes you go, excuse me. Trios match, move on. Arisa and Tom getting out a win. I think it's 4 in a row, so they're definitely the favorite heading into blue block. At this point, I don't really see anyone else winning blue block at this point. I don't know how, but I've stayed away from the tag league results, but it's definitely looking like Top Gaijins against Arisa Tom. I don't see how anyone else from Blue Block is going to come out at this point, not with the momentum Arisa and Tom are having. Death Hanasan and Death Yamasan against the Drunk Queens was a comedy match. Really funny seeing Martina scared of death, if you will. And then, of course, I don't know why, in the main event, it's Momo and Azumi against Hazuki handicap match. And it's like the same thing. Hazuki runs wild. Natsuko hits 4 moves, and then the match ends. Like, ugh. I just don't like it. So, Nagoya. Death and, the Death Squad against Tom and Arisa are going to be the finals. I don't see... as a comedy act, I can't take Hana and Death seriously to get to the finals to go against Top Gaijin. Not when the big babyface group of Arisa and Tom are on the run, right? So, Top Gaijins against Tom and Arisa, I'm assuming. So you have the big heel undefeated team against the big babyface underdogs that came back and won like 4 or 5 in a row to win the block. So again, that definitely plays into the 2 scenarios of either Top Gaijins run wild and roll through the tag champions, right? They win the tag titles. Or you have Tam and Arisa overcome the big heel group, good feel-good story. Could easily see that as well. But then when they get to the tag title match, would they win the title? That's a much tougher scenario to predict. So I could see Tom and Arisa winning just for that tougher prediction of can they beat Jungle and Konami? So that's the more interesting story. Because if again, Top Gaijins, if they win, you expect them to win because they've already rolled through the tag champions, right? So for the more interesting story, you could probably assume that Tom and Arisa are going to win, and then you know what? I'm going to say they don't win the tag titles. Because the longer story is then TCS have a line of opponents to face off, to build up their cred again. And that's Stardom. Looking good to finish out the year. We're going to get the Mayu Arisa double title match or in January as they get closer to the Tokyo Dome. Well, anyways, time to move on. That was fun. Got 2 more shows to talk about, much quicker. And then WCW. Hey. Let's see here. Yeah, I haven't played this one in a while. Yeah, Tyler Bates from Progress. Let's play the Progress one. All right. Progress Chapter 97, Sex Robots Will Eventually Be Capable of Murder. I think we can all agree that's the best title of any wrestling show ever. We start out the show with Mark... we have our shtick with Smallman, as usual. Mark Andrews with Eddie Dennis defeats Connor Mills in a 10-minute match. Very simple. The big story here, I criticized Chapter 96 for having no story with Eddie Dennis coming out of it. 97, at least we have a path set, because Eddie Dennis cuts a promo, talks shit on Mark Andrews, talks shit on David Starr, talks shit on the promotion, he does his thing. David Starr comes out, and he's furious. You talk a lot of shit when I'm not here, but I'm here now situation. Eddie Dennis fires back with you will get whomever wins the main event between David Starr at a future date will get a title match against Eddie Dennis, and he proclaims OJMO will face David Starr to kind of put dissension between the two, because they're friends. David Starr is the one that got OJMO in the Natural Progression series. That's whom he picked. So there's story there. So Eddie Dennis playing the card. I really like the line of David Starr saying, your handlers say you can't wrestle, referencing WWE, saying Eddie Dennis can't wrestle. Wondering how that's going to play there. So at least we have a path of Eddie Dennis versus probably David Starr as we go through the night. Tag team match, Pretty Deadly defeats Jordan Bleeks and Sid Scala in a 14-minute match. I think it overstayed its welcome. Went too long. Moving on. We have the second match, the return bout of Cara Noir versus Ilya Dragunov. This match went 16 minutes, and they played more character work. They start off hot, as they did before, and then they're staring at each other. They're like hitting a move, standing up behind him, looking like Cara Noir does his opera stance kind of situation. He does a move, Dragunov pops up from behind, looking just fury, like his intensity eyes situation. There's more character work after a few more moves. So you could say that they kind of overindulged in each other, but I think a lot of character work like this is missing in wrestling today. So this was a breath of fresh air. I haven't seen too many matches like this in the last couple of years. Cara Noir's licking his face. Dragunov's licking his hand after some chops and kicks, because Cara Noir wrestles without shoes on. This was a great return bout. Now, I was critical before because Dragunov beat Cara Noir, and I was afraid, okay, two things could happen. Dragunov wins, and you go, okay, well, who does that help? Dragunov has no path to the title. They're not doing anything. And if Cara Noir wins, well, you expect it to be a trilogy. They 50-50'd it. Why couldn't they just, have Cara win twice, and then you do an angle with Dragunov or something? Well, regardless, the finish was awesome. Dragunov does go for a Torpedo Moscow and just gets caught in midair into the big sleeper hold and gets him. I did like that finish. It was quite nice. I like this match more than their first one, as a matter of fact. Progress Women's title match happened between Dani Luna and Meiko Satomura. Meiko, just on another level. It wasn't even close. It was exactly what I was afraid of. Dani Luna loses in under 10 minutes. She went in as a weak challenger, even though Toni Storm tried to put her over. Regardless, Meiko Satomura retains. There was an angle that played, I think, right before that. There was going to be a match between with Osen Delaney and Charlie Carter taking on members of Do Not Resuscitate, Danny Duggan and I think Chuck Mambo. But then Spike Trivet comes on the video screen. He says he's in Newcastle. This is what's been missing for DNR, is Spike Trivet promos. And Spike Trivet looking strong. And DNR looking strong. They haven't looked strong. They haven't pushed anybody singles-wise to success. They haven't pushed even tag title success, right? They need to look better as main event players, especially with the NXT UK guys not being regular people on the show really anymore at all, right? So you need to push DNR. Well, what ends up happening is Spike Trivet says he's got more members. Pretty Deadly hit the ring from behind, and all of DNR minus Spike Trivet beat the hell out of Delaney and Carter, and then we move on. So DNR is looking to be a huge faction going forward. We'll get to something in a second here. There's a Progress Proteus title match between Paul Robinson taking on DNR member William Ever. And of course, via Paul Robinson's rules, you can't use the title as a weapon at all, otherwise the match is over. And you can only lose via submission or knockout / referee stoppage. And Ever, looking big and beastly, beckons DNR to go to the back. He wants to win it on his own. Eventually, after Robinson just looking like a badass that he is, a little scrapper, Mambo makes his way to the ring. Robinson takes him out. He does like triple, double curb stomp Ever into the ground, beats his ass, essentially. So Ever, to me, there was a moment where Ever's hitting his big moves on Robinson because he can't pin him, and Robinson's just giving him the finger. That's not how it works. I did quite like that. That's a good touch to the match. Makes the title seem important, and the stip important, instead of breaking it. This makes DNR come off as fools. I really don't think this was a good move after that big angle earlier in the night with getting more DNR and kicking the shit out of basically these unknown guys in Progress lately. So having Ever lose here, with also having Mambo look, well, kind of foolish as well, if this plays into Ever and Mambo, the original DNR members, getting kicked out of the group, that could be one thing. How fast that comes really depends on how much they nail that end of the story. If it's not that, then why are you making this group look so weak? Is Paul Robinson going to go through DNR members one by one and then eventually gets to Spike Trivet and Trivet wins? I could see something like that happen, and Trivet has all of DNR just kick the shit out of Robinson, and that's how he wins the Proteus title. Then you could have DNR win this title and have just a crazy stipulation where it's going to be virtually impossible to get it off Spike Trivet. I could see that. I could be for any one of these things. How they pull it off remains to be seen. Then we had our number one contendership match, David Starr versus OJMO. Goes 19 minutes, 6 seconds. Just awesome. OJMO just doing his Michael Oku thing, flipping over the top rope, doing the half Boston crab, the half crab. One definite critique is OJMO definitely needs some more ring psychology in his match, right? He has charisma, but it's not playing into his ring game, as well as he's just doing moves still. While on the David Starr side, he's definitely being over-reliant on the big lariat, Stan Hansen, lately. When it was against guys like Walter and Devlin, it definitely played in the match. But when you have someone like OJMO, whom isn't selling these things as much as he probably should, the match just doesn't click, right? So athletically and pace-wise, it was quite good. But then on the other end, the ring psychology just wasn't there. But it was a good match. David Starr wins. They have their moment together, you know, the friends, and the match goes off the air. I wonder if this is going to lead to something at Unboxing. I believe there's 2 more shows before that to finish off the year. So we'll see what 98 and 99 bring heading into Chapter 100. That will lead into the last one before WCW. WXW VXV Broken Rules 19. You know, I love WXW, but sometimes you can tell they're trying really hard to get a lot of their young guys over, bringing in new blood to make up for a lot of the missing depth and talent. Who's ready, who's not. They have stories. They all make sense in the world. How are they playing into it all? Is it successful? It's tough to watch a promotion struggle to have drawing talent, right? And this was a show that was extremely evident of such struggles. We've seen it in the UK with a lot of promotions, from IPW to Southside Wrestling that went under. Defiant had a real problem doing that. So I'm definitely quite worried after seeing Broken Rules, which is one of their marquee shows. Not the biggest marquee shows, but nonetheless, it's more of their kind of Extreme Rules or pay-per-view. Mike Bailey defeats Julian Pace in 9 minutes. Mike Bailey does do a crazy mid-rope springboard moonsault to the outside floor move, which was quite crazy, I will say. There was a tag team match of JAA, Absolute Andy and Skillet, defeating Avalanche and the Rotation in a nice little 12-minute match. The story is still Absolute Andy wants to become a Triple Crown champion of WXW. Avalanche has the shotgun title. It's the only one he's never held. Andy and Skillet run wild. They take Avalanche out of the equation. And for some reason, Skillet pins the Rotation instead of Andy in this situation. So I don't know how that plays. But I've seen on a Road 2, Andy gets the title match against Avalanche and lost. So this is where I'm a little bit lost in this situation. The Alexander James no DQ match against Jurn Simmons took place. Was a little long, 15 plus minutes. Do the big kendo stick spots with Jurn Simmons as a babyface. Ooh, it's kind of tough. He's doing the badass thing going on, so I don't know. But Alexander James only wins via the help of Colton, the Canadian Hercules from Smash Wrestling. So Alexander James gets a new heavy to replace Jurn Simmons. So that it's a simple story being told, but the interference, it's good angle for an undercard. That's what I'll say. Then we had the match of the night. Easily, it was David Starr defeating Ilya Dragunov in a 14.5-minute match. Basically, a number one contendership match that gets talked to. Starr and Dragunov had a war of words backstage in which Karsten Beck gets involved and said, "Do it in the ring." Starr wants a title match. He said, "Hey, if you win, you get it." Dragunov goes, "Why does he get one? What has he done? All he's done is lost." Well, Dragunov. He ends up losing. Not as good as the OJMO match, I will say. Surprisingly enough, I think just as it was getting more or less get going, it just kind of ends with David Starr winning. So, looking like Starr gets another VXV title match to finish out the year. I thought he was going to win it last year. He did not. So Thatcher against Starr. I don't know if he's going to make it to that. Baseball bat on a pole tag team match. It was supposed to be a singles match of Lucky Kid versus Pete Bouncer. Fortunately, Purge Club wasn't going to have that. It's a 2-on-1 situation in which Aaron Insane was featured in the crowd with, I forget the other guy, but older WXW guys. Aaron Insane saves Lucky Kid, gets a little Frankfurt hometown pop. Turns into a tag match. It was not a bad on a pole match, but it was your standard. It's a tornado tag match in which every once in a while someone would go for the bat that's on the pole, be just shy of it, get pulled down, do some moves. Very much a lack of ring psychology. Aaron Insane, jeans and a t-shirt, looking very out of shape, very slow. Ivan Kiev is definitely no main eventer himself with his moves. I really wanted to see Pete Bouncer and Lucky Kid go at this in this match one-on-one. Well, as we found out right before the show went off the air, Lucky Kid is talking to Beck, and Beck is like, "Hey, I'm glad you won your match. You can put this behind you now. You can move on to bigger and better things." Lucky Kid goes, "No, I can't. I've done so much in 2019. I won 16 Carat, but I lost my title match. I've been going internationally. I went to NXT UK, had a match there. He's done, Ring of Honor. He's done Ring of Honor, but he hasn't been able to accomplish what he has in WXW because of what happened with Rise and Pete Bouncer specifically. And he knows Pete is just going to say, you didn't beat me 1v1. You needed help. You can't beat me by yourself. So in storyline, it makes perfect sense. I wanted to see the 1v1 match. They've built it up well. We didn't get a conclusive finish to the story here. This makes sense. I like it. So again, you can tell WXW is being consistent with their storylines, with the exception of the Andy already facing Avalanche on a Road 2 show, right? But they're continuing the story. He still wants the Shotgun title, right? And he's still adamant about it. So everything makes sense in the promotion. They just don't have the star power. There was a singles match that wasn't very good. It was Little Miss Roxy losing to Sky Smithson, so two British chicks going at each other. And then there was a tag title TLC match. Pretty Bastards, the tag champions, taking on Arrows of Hungary. And I thought this was the match went 20 minutes. They did a nice little pre-match promo of the Arrows of Hungary saying that they are hardcore specialists. And because they got screwed with the formation of the new stable at the previous show, you're coming into their yard and they're gonna win. Well, the Pretty Bastards go into their yard and they beat the Arrows of Hungary. So this, at the very least, after 20 minutes, at the end of the day, proved to me that the Pretty Bastards are a legit tag team, right? And then after the show, they meet with Julian Pace in the back, and they're saying, look, yes, we took out your tag partner to get into Tag League, right? Our backs were against the wall, our contracts were on the line, we had to do what we had to do, we don't regret it, but Julian, you know what, you find a partner, and we will do the right thing and give you a tag title match. That's what you want. Pace is pissed, gets on the phone, he calls somebody. So, I wanted to see more of Bobby Guns and Norman Harris. I really think they needed to make an appearance on the show in some kind and do an angle, whether that's interfering against David Starr or interfering, maybe further beating down Jurgen Simmons. I don't know. Something should have happened on the show with Guns and Norman Harris. A promo, even. Something. We definitely needed an angle with the new group, and we didn't get that. I think on one of the Road 2 shows, Guns and Harris are cutting promos there, so I kind of got to go out of my way to find a lot of these. So, we'll see what happens with WXW moving forward. I am looking forward to the path to 16 Karat, see what new blood they're bringing in, and what stories they're going to tell along the way. Man, it's been a rough year. Time to go to the last segment, finally. Here we go. Yes, WCW Nitro, the last segment of the show. Each week I do a recap over Nitro in order. I started in 1998 for the Thunder, diverted into Nitro this summer. We are at WCW Nitro, August 31st, 1998, inside of 2 weeks from Fall Brawl, the War Games match, from Miami, Florida this time, which is funny because AEW just announced they're doing a show, Bash the Beach, in Miami, Florida, so funny timing. What else would we start out with other than a Bischoff-Hogan segment? Luckily, this was not a Bischoff-Hogan packed show, not 3-4 appearances this time around. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Bischoff packs a concealed weapon tonight. A pen, he says as he takes a pen from his pocket. References Eddie Guerrero to wrestle again, while the Warrior will not. Of course, we have no idea about the Eddie and Bischoff situation other than the weird promo from Eddie 2 weeks ago back on Nitro. And then Hogan gets the mic. His voice did not cut out this time. Quite missed that. He announces his War Games partners as Bret Hart. Bit weird. Stevie Ray, the new member. What the fuck? I'm just so baffled by these two picks. Bret Hart's star power makes a little sense at least. Stevie Ray makes no fucking sense. Especially because Booker T isn't in the War Games match. It's the only way that would make sense. Whatever. Hogan babbles on, finally calls out Warrior, and he appears in a badass entrance. Hogan says the fire stands for the fear in Warrior's eyes. This will play later. And sort of, we see the NWO slowly surrounding the ring as strobe lights blind the viewer. Yes, I am not kidding. Strobe lights were very heavy, and if you got epilepsy, oh my god, you poor guy. Warrior says, "Speak to me, warriors," as smoke envelops the ring, and then he just disappears before the NWO jumps him. That was weird. Disappeared. Hogan is pissed. His plan didn't work to take out Batman Warrior. Batman Warrior signal hits the rafters. So I guess this is kind of half cool, half dumb, half weird. I don't know what to make of it yet. Kind of like it, but I don't really. It's definitely strange. WCW then shows Goldberg hanging out with Mark McGuire at the Marlins Stadium. This was quite big in the late 90s. Then Jim Powers comes out to face Wrath, the former Atom Bomb. So this is our second straight week of Atom Bomb / Wrath in a match. So they have a simple 4-minute match with Jim Powers here. We get a Jim Powers comeback of sorts. Crowd gets sort of into it. Wrath continues his winning ways. Looks like a beast. Just kills the dude. Wins off a pump handle slam, a.k.a. the Meltdown. Quite like that name. I'm liking Wrath being built up here. It's simple, effective stuff. It's not like the best matches, to get him over, but this was the late 90s. It was a different era, which is funny because I'm watching the All Japan Women's Classics from the 80s, and it's way better wrestling. After we have some Nitro Girls and Nitro Party stuff, Norman Smiley makes his appearance. Oh boy, it's Norman time. Now, not to get ahead of myself, but when we start seeing all this new blood coming in, this is the sign of the apocalypse in terms of WCW. We'll learn that in time. But yeah, he gets to face Scott Flash Norton. So, yes, Norton just murders this man, and it was amazing. He immediately headbutts the piss out of Smiley, chops the piss out of him, power slams his ass, a massive shoulder breaker, lifts him up from the pin, gives him a crushing powerbomb for the win. Oh, the brutality. Mwah, mwah, mwah. It's so salivating. So, if Norton isn't challenging Goldberg for the title at Fall Brawl, okay, I will be very sad. He's the only guy super built up in this match, or over the weeks. He needs the title shot at Fall Brawl versus Goldberg. I need to see that. I will totally understand the War Games match being the main event, but I need to see a legit contender for Goldberg, and it needs to be Scott Flash fucking Norton. And if they don't do that, it can't be at Halloween Havoc. No, because the winner of War Games is going on to Starrcade to face Goldberg, or the champion. So, what's going to happen at Halloween Havoc could possibly be Scott Norton. I don't know. It'd be very baffling if since Norton isn't in the War Games match. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Lights go out after the pin, and this will be something we'll see for the rest of the night. NWO will be on the ring. After their match, the lights go out, and hanging from the rafters, or hanging out in the rafters, mind you, Warrior is just chilling. maybe it's getting a little overdone. We'll see how the night plays out. Mike Tenay is backstage. Short interviews. Saturn, apparently he lost on Thunder in a match to Lodi, and now he's the servant of Lodi until Fall Brawl. Lodi's just milking it, making him carry his signs, his poster board. Saturn says he has pride and self-respect. He's a army veteran of sorts. He will not break his word. He's a man of his word. It works with me. It's quite good. I liked it. Wolfpack out, crowd still very into him. It's a party when they come out, let's face it. But this is a thought I had. All that NWO dissension leads to this Wolfpack breakoff, okay? They got cool entrance music, crushing star power. It started super hot, totally halted in the summer for the celebrity matches, and now we are, now in August, we are back building for War Games at Fall Brawl. Last couple weeks, we've gone off the air with the dissension between Goldberg and Nash. We've had more or less the Wolfpack and NWO going at each other. It's been hot the last couple weeks. So this Wolfpack iteration is back on track, right? But the Faction Warfare losing the tag title and the US title, I think it lost a bit of its luster, essentially, since they haven't played it up at all. I'm definitely slowly losing interest in the Wolfpack again. It's almost like Bang Bang. It's very quick to how much I'm losing interest in this. They're coming, it's like Cody Rhodes with my mom. It's coming across as all talk and no action, right? Anyways, Nash cuts a long-winded promo about how they drew straws for War Games, who's going to be in it. Turns out it's going to be Luger, Sting, and Nash. Then gives DDP an ultimatum to run with him or he will be hunted, and that's it. Another ominous message from Nash again for the second straight week. Then we get a really cool segment. I'm a big fan of this one. This was great. Very NWA-esque. Shivani is in the ring with JJ Dillon. And JJ beckons Arn Anderson to the ring. Anderson comes out. Says he found some old footage. Then he plays this old promo of Arn Anderson from 1983 in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, talking about Ricky Steamboat, Magnum TA, and Dusty Rhodes. And Arn Anderson is just being awesome. He's got a full head of hair, a big hat on. He calls Steamboat. He references all these guys to commercials. Steamboat is a Hawaiian car salesman. Magnum TA, he's better off with selling toothpaste. This is Mid-Atlantic. This is where men are. It's really cool. Arn Anderson's impressed. And then JJ gets Mongo and Benoit to come down and try and convince Arn to reform the Horsemen officially with JJ's influence. So kind of corners him, right? And Arn is torn and sad, right? Commentary is just man, imagine to be Arn Anderson. You used to be this especially with the promo, used to be this big shot kind of guy, big shot wrestler, the enforcer in the Horsemen, and you had this injury and you can't wrestle anymore. And then Arn Anderson just looks at JJ as JJ kind of pulls him back in the ring. As Arn looks at JJ, why are you doing this to me? All the crowd wants is they're just chanting Flair. This came across as very emotional. JJ says one last time, Arn, kind of calls him out. I think you're afraid of all this, right? He's afraid to be in the ring and not wrestle, right? So as fans, we empathize with Arn because we know he can't wrestle anymore and how tough it is to be in that ring. It was a very good It was a very good segment. This was great. We get a replay of the Weird Eddie promo. I don't know why. Nothing came of it of the night. It was very odd. Brian Adams with Vincent. Batman Warrior signal again with the Warrior in the rafters. Ooh, spooky. Zbyszko's on commentary saying he's trying to lay down for Adams. Because, I skipped over. Commentary is oh my God. Brian Adams and Vincent is out. And Eddie Guerrero comes out. You get the bat signal. Adams facing Eddie Guerrero. So what we got here is bullshit. I got so flabbergasted with my notes. I'm all over the place. Eddie comes out and he lays down for Adams. At the very least, Adams is hesitant and wants to fight. But it just goes on and on and on. After like 4 minutes of just bullshit, he finally just puts his foot on Eddie. The crowd is deathly quiet. Ugh, like 3 people boo. Eddie tells Bischoff off on the mic, and that's it. Just an awful segment. What a horrid thing to follow up such a good segment. Ugh. We get a replay from Thunder of Ernest the Cat Miller being quote-unquote legit after he beat Disco Inferno. This time he faces Riggs of the Flock in not a good match, just all over the place. Cat wins via the spin kick. Bounces off the ropes, basically misses him. Gets on the mic, cuts a promo, calls himself a 3-time world karate champion. No one here can beat the Cat. Okay then, we get a good, sort of good, I won't say good. Konnan versus Marty Jannetty. They have a standard okay match. It lasts about 9 minutes, which is quite surprising it lasted that long. And it was weird because most of the match was Jannetty beating Konnan down and working him over. And after all that work by Jannetty, getting an okay match out of just non-movement Konnan, all it took was one mid-kick, a facebuster, hits the Tequila Sunrise, Konnan wins. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I definitely wouldn't call it good, because Konnan didn't do shit. Saturn's out, gets in the ring with Master Lodi. He's carrying all those signs. Canyon and Raven get in the ring. Canyon is full flock now. I guess he's completely roped in. So I guess it works with the story. Raven then orders Lodi to order Saturn that he can't hit Raven in Canyon. Right? But then, So Raven, he orders Lodi to tell Saturn he can't hit Raven and Canyon. Then they proceed to mock Saturn awkwardly like children bullies. You have pride and integrity. Yeah. Turns out, this isn't even a tag match against the two. I thought, they were just going to beat the shit out of him, antagonize him. No, it led to a match of Lodi and Saturn versus High Voltage. Even commentary was confused. They're just like, oh, I guess they're facing High Voltage. But they have a match, basically 2v1 against Saturn the whole time. Lots of power slams and suplexes all around. Saturn eventually makes his own comeback, hits a DVD, Lodi tags in, and gets the win. Ah, glorious day. Drinks all around for Lodi. For Lodi has won a wrestling match here on Nitro. I was actually quite satisfied at the end of all this. Tony Schiavone introduces DDP to the ring, captain of Team WCW at War Games. DDP does his Hollywood scum Hogan shtick, introduces Piper to the ring. Piper cuts a very babyface promo for War Games, specifically calls out Bret Hart to see the kindness in his heart, and for some reason Giant hits the ring and beats them both up. Okay. Then for no reason, Giant gets cuffed after security surrounds him. No idea what was the purpose of all this. So Scott Steiner, looking jacked beyond reason, cuts a promo about him being a phenom with his quack doctor next to him, much like last week. Out to prove his injuries are indeed real, he brings out a second doctor from Jamaica named Juju Ubengi. But it's Buff Bagwell doing a Jamaican accent, dressed in stereotypical Jamaican clothes. He's got the dreads, the Rastafarian gimmick on. Buff then does a hokey witch doctor thing, says Steiner is magically healed. Not a good segment at all. It was quite awful. Crowd was death quiet. Here, Rick Steiner just casually walks in the ring from behind, looks at them, they turn around, they flee. Rick, with a smile on his face, just laughs it off. Just says, I don't want to hurt you, because then you'd, say you're injured again, so I guess that kind of makes sense. But the lights go out again, focuses on Warrior in the rafters. Commentary just will not shut up about this One Warrior Nation thing all night. It's now getting it's officially irritating. Easily the match of the night here is Juventud Guerrera, the Cruiserweight champion, defending the title against newcomer Evan Courageous. Now, some of us know that Evan Courageous would later go on into the Team 3 Count, but right now he is a young, studly, jacked, young guy ready to wrestle. And boy, howdy, he sure did. Bobby Heenan's calling Courageous a future star. Little does he know. Bobby just putting this guy over hard. He's likely to be a star soon. Look at that body. Look at these moves. Dude, they were just trying so hard to get this match over. They're getting so excited, all the moves. Heenan just getting antsy about Courageous not going for the covers fast enough. Just like, come on, you young lad, do it. Schiavone saying it's due to his youth and inexperience. But the crowd, this pained me. The crowd just didn't give two shits about this. They're chanting Goldberg. Something was happening in the crowd like most of the match, and the whole crowd's looking away from the ring. There's take it off chants at one point. What a shame, because these two guys just killed it for 9 minutes. It was just back and forth, both guys trying to one-up each other's moves. Courageous was pulling out top rope lion salts, Frankensteiners, you name it. Hoovy does eventually hit the Hoovy driver and get the win. I love this match. What a shame about the crowd. Ugh. And you could definitely compare this to like a 205 Live match that just kills it, but no one cares in today's day and age. Nearing the end, we got 3 segments left. TV champ Chris Jericho versus Disco Inferno. This was semi-competitive. Mostly Disco hot on fire. He does hit the stunner, but Jericho gets his foot on the rope. Disco runs at Jericho like right after this, but it's immediately just easily reversed into a lion tamer for the submission win. It was fine, I guess. Goldberg's music hits. Nash is on commentary. Goldberg's escorted by security from the back, so this is now a regular thing, I think we can officially say. Nash is on commentary discussing the chances of him getting a title shot if he wins War Games. He says he doesn't just want a match like on Nitro or anything. He wants one at a pay-per-view for the big money. Basically kind of doing a shoot promo here from our history of what we know of Kevin Nash. The crowd is just insane for Goldberg from the second that music hits till he walks out of the arena. It's such a reminder to us all how massively popular and over Goldberg was. He's against former WCW tag guy Al Green, kind of a bigger dude. After a quick 2-minute spear jackhammer pin of pure intensity, the crowd being crazy for Goldberg, he moves to, I believe I heard this correctly, 141-0. Michael Buffer does the intros for the main event. It's Hogan and Bret Hart with the Disciple out versus Sting and Luger of the Wolfpack. So I spoke of Luger during the Wrestler Spotlight, and this is what I'm talking about. This match is so slow. Watching Hart versus Luger and then Sting versus Hogan is so painful in 1998. Like, it's just Hart and Sting trying to get just anything out of these two guys. Like, Sting's getting beaten down, he's just bumping all over the place for Hogan. Or it's Hart beating down Luger, trying to get Luger to do a comeback, but it's like not happening, right? There's nothing inherently wrong, right? If you know what I mean. But damn, it's boring. It's so by the book tag match. Sting does eventually get a fun hot tag for like 20 seconds. He runs wild on Hogan, hits a stinger splash, and he's kind of jumping around. He's all excited. Hogan's, no, don't do it. But then there's awkward Disciple interference. I'm saying this now officially. The Disciple, aka Brutus Barber Beefcake, is the worst manager of interference I've ever seen. Like, whether it was the shitty ankle belt shot last week, to the pulling of Hogan out of the way, but Hogan goes the opposite direction, right, of a Stinger Splash. It's horrid. It's almost comically bad at this point. I'm like waiting for a shitty Disciple interference. He starts hitting him with the weight belt, in which then Bret Hart rips it away, because remember, Bret Hart likes and respects Sting. Hart, in anger, throws the weight belt down, leaves the ring. Hogan picks it back up and gives chase. So they're like midway up the ramp area. Goes to Hart. What's that about, brother? And Hart just says, "You gave me your word," in anger. They both end up getting counted out, and the crowd's just pissed. Rightfully so. What a shitty way for your main event to end. Trash, of course, getting thrown in the ring, as it should. Luger and Sting just leave. They just bow out. Like, what the fuck is that? They just leave. Oh, we won the match. Okay, cool, whatever. So, really emphasizing that faction warfare going into War Games. So they just leave. Hogan and Hart go back to the ring for no fucking reason. But we know the reason. It's to do this segment that's coming, right? So they're bickering. They're bickering at each other. The rest of the NWO from the night get into the ring to break up what could be a fight. They're jaw-jacking each other. Smoke then starts to envelop the ring, and this is where it gets real stupid. Okay? So the smoke fills the ring up, and you see Bret Hart just leave the ring. Right? You just straight up see him go under the bottom rope and leave. Scott Norton just gets on a knee and kneels down, and then you see Bryan Adams, Vincent, and the Disciple, all three of them, just lay down. You just see them just go on their butt, lay down on their back, lay down on their stomach. Yes, the camera catches all of this. And then the Warrior pops up from the bottom of the ring and raises up. He bangs his chest, and commentary says, the NWO is all laid out because of what we saw. Just fucking awful. You couldn't have the Warrior clothesline them all and run wild? Like, is that like you're doing the Batman thing, right? The smoke's enveloping the ring. Show a dude running through the smoke, taking these dudes out, right? Is that so hard? No, he just bangs his chest, pulls a mic out, says, "Hogan, we smell your fear." Because Hogan's cowering, turned around in a corner. He does put on the best cowardly scared face ever. Turns around, sees Warrior, freaks out, flees the ring as Nitro goes off the air. What a bizarre build for the Warrior on this show. And what happened in this main event. So weird. I have no idea what to make of it. He doesn't look strong. He just looks like he's like an ineffective Batman. That's what it is to me. He's an ineffective Batman. It's so weird. And my memories of Warrior in WCW as a childhood is totally gone. I remember Warrior being there, but I totally forgot like what had happened on Nitro during this era, because it was like only a month long. Oh my god, this is so weird looking back on it all. So with that, we got the go home show. I believe whatever. Fall Brawl's coming. That should be a shit show. I expect nothing less. I'm still holding out hope for Goldberg Norton. I haven't spoiled myself on that title match. Fingers crossed. And finally, time to do the wrestler rankings after it all. Let's just start with the men this time. 15 OJMO, 14 SCU, 13 Susumu Yokotsuka, he's made it back. 12 Cara Noir, 11 David Starr, 10 Ilya Dragunov, mostly because that Cara Noir match, I will say. 9, Angel freaking Garza. Finally, a guy in WWE makes this list. 8, Kenny Omega. 7, Yoshino. 6, Jon Moxley. 5, Ben K. 4, Hangman Page. 3, Pac. 2, Jericho. And 1, Cody. So Cody has really just crushed going up the ranks since AEW started, as well as Omega. So cool stuff. On to the women. A little bit more difficult, but 10 is Momo. She finally gets her first point in what seems to be months. 9, Azumi. 8, Chris Statlander. 7, Mercedes Martinez. 6, Jamie Hayter. 5, Arisa. 4, Mayu. That could be seen as a little controversial. But 3, Riho. 2, Emi Sakura. And 1, B. Priestley. So I hope that makes a little bit more sense. When it's all said and done, that rolls out the rankings. Definitely hit me up on Twitter at BowlingJD, and you can see an updated top 10 list to it all, and where the rankings stand as we are going into the final stretch of the year. There we go. This was episode 44 of the Red Leaf WrestleCast. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.